San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? Happy Tuesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. December 2nd, 2025. Getting closer to the end of the year here of 2025. Getting ready for 2026. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. Live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Got a lot to get to on today's show. I was just talking to Frank off air. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, it is a uniquely packed Tuesday during the baseball offseason.
Yeah. And we didn't even get to really talk about some of the baseball things that we've been hearing or also been seeing. And Jeff Passan helped us out today.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff Passan put out an article today with Kylie McDaniel about the 2025-2026 MLB offseason, ranking players who could be traded. And we were going to start the show with Aztec football about what's next now for San Diego State. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. We can talk about Monday Night Football. Patriots, Nate, hey, your boys.
Do we have
Was that
to,
the
though?
New England Patriots, or was that just the Giants being so bad?
No, that was...
I think you might need to change the phrase to, instead of, and then the New York Jets, to, and then there's the Giants.
And then there's the Giants.
The Giants have overtaken the Jets in out-jetting the Jets. The Giants are out-jetting the Jets on so many different ways.
I can't even be mad at that.
No, you can't.
It's accurate.
Who was it? Koo last night? See the kicker right now?
Uh-huh.
He couldn't even kick the ball. He got his toe stuck. Then they go to a shot at Jackson Dart. He's like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
It's good on Jackson Dart for staying a little bit more composed than I would have.
That's highly reasonable. All right. I mean, that was just kind of funny. It's just kind of funny.
Like, this is my team.
That is your team. These are our Colts.
Like I said.
These are our Giants.
Like I said, it's hard to ruin a Monday when Monday's already ruined just by being Monday.
Just by being a Monday. You know what? If Frank had a good Monday, it would have been ruined by the result of his football team. The fact that
I didn't watch it. I didn't even watch the game. Had no interest in watching the game. I saw that. I'm like, good God Almighty. And then I saw the Abdul Carter situation, which is now in dispute. So
I can't imagine that being like a legit report, by the way.
But the fact that was even brought up as a potential report just shows the state of the Giants.
That's the best thing about X, is it's a bunch of nonsense that is believable nonsense.
Yeah.
And that's what makes that app so fun.
And that's the worst part about it. If you're a sports organization, is the fact that your fan base could even remotely consider that as being true, you're doing something wrong. Really, really wrong.
Last night was a great night for social media. Great night for Twitter. If you love sports and you love football and college football, last night on social media was almost as good as the trade deadline. Let me tell you. To see all the memes about the New York Giants, hilarious. And then the entire Keilani Satake Penn State saga. College football is the best. It's the best. Tell me it's not the best.
We're fixing that today, aren't we?
It's the best.
Or we were, at least.
I was going to, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it later in the week. We have so much more to talk about. It's the best. Maybe it does need to be fixed. Yesterday, the reports were that Penn State was close to bringing in Keilani Satake as their new head coach. But to me, I don't see the fit. He was good at Utah State. He's good at BYU. He's Mormon. He knows how to recruit that area. He knows how to get players to go to the state of Utah. I don't know if that necessarily fits in Pennsylvania. So I thought it was kind of an interesting move. I mean, at this point, Penn State's on plan like G, E, F on the list.
No, they're on plan like AC right now. Like we've
already gone through the alphabet once.
We're going through it again.
And not to say that Sataki's not a good coach. I think Kalani Sataki's a great coach. I just don't think he fits Penn State. I think Penn State is a school that thought they were going to get a lot of big name candidates to come coach there. And instead, they just got a lot of people paid. Penn State's the best agent for college football coaches. They got Matt Rule paid. They got Signetti paid. I mean, you start going down the list of potential candidates that were rumored to be heading to Penn State. They all got massive contract extensions. And now Sataki might be the same thing. And here's the deal. This is the funniest part about this entire spiel. Kalani Sitake was supposed to be announced as the new head coach at Penn State after the Big 12 championship game because BYU's playing in the Big 12 championship. Penn State was going to let him coach in the Big 12 championship game and not be a distraction. And now it's a massive distraction because this is what makes college football amazing. The CEO of Crumble Cookies had to step in. Crumble Cookies. The reason why Penn State cannot announce a head coach right now is because Crumble Cookies said, not so fast, my friend.
That is not the way this cookie crumbles, folks.
No, not so fast. I got to get involved. Guys laying off like all these employees. But you know what? How dare you take my college's head football coach? We're going to make this happen. The CEO of Crumble Cookies is preventing Penn State from hiring a head coach. They had to go through the church. They had to ask the Mormon church permission. I mean, it's just, you don't get this in anything else. It's hilarious. And if you're a Penn State fan, I know Penn State fans. I know a lot of Penn State fans. They're just laughing because of how funny this is.
You can't, I mean, you laugh to keep from crying.
Oh, come on. It's funny. Everybody knows it's funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It is so funny. The memes last night are hilarious.
Oh, no, it is definitely funny. I'm not denying that, but it's like.
These tweets last night.
Really?
The only thing standing between Penn State and its top target is Crumble Cookies. What kind of college football is this?
No, go Aztecs. There is not. And by the way,
that's a foul.
He draws the foul.
Yeah, no, there's not a joke in there.
The Crumble Cookie CEO is preventing Penn State from hiring a head coach. It's just nonstop entertainment. I mean, the memes last night. What is it? The Avengers meme. Nobody can stop me. It's Penn State, and then the little BYU logo is like, yeah, but he can. It's like Crumble Cookies.
I'm gonna tell everyone up at Happy Valley right now. James Franklin ain't looking too bad now, is he?
I mean, they had to.
As compared to.
They had to make the
nothing.
move. But they had to make the move. But the problem is when you make that move, sometimes it's not always, the grass isn't always greener. They're now in a situation where they're getting outbid by BYU right now. Not to say it's a bad thing.
They're getting
BYU's got a lot of money.
They're getting outbid by Crumble Cookies.
That's right.
And the Mormon Church. That's what
Crumble Cookies is about to be banned from the entire state of Pennsylvania. It's funny. It's the most hilarious thing ever. There's other big businesses of BYU alumni that are jumping in to pay him whatever he needs. Now he's on the fence, and now he doesn't know if he's going to go, and the kids on the team are begging him to stay. What world are we living in? This is, I mean, imagine this in like professional sports. That would be the most hilarious thing. You got Craig Stammer, the new manager of the Padres, has a great year, and all of a sudden the Giants want to hire him away because Vitella didn't work out, and Petco is like, nah, not so fast. We got to up the ante here. Amazing. It's amazing. College football is amazing. We got more details on the whole Lane Kiffin saga too that we're going to get to later on in the show. It's just the more updates we get, the funnier it gets. The disasters of some of these schools. What schools are doing. I mean, what was the What was that? I forget. That happened when I was in college, I think. Remember, was that the Dallas Mavericks that did that with Mark Cuban showing up and whoever they were trying to sign locked himself in his house or something like that?
I think it might have been.
I guess the NBA is just as crazy as college football, but Penn State can't hire a head coach because crumble cookies. You can't make that headline up.
We
never ceases to amaze.
We've also got more Zach Bryan tickets to give away today.
Oh, nice. That's great.
We've got San Diego State, Utah Valley tickets to give away today. So
all right.
There's a lot of distractions to keep from my embarrassing sports teams.
It's all right. Jeff Passan put out an article today about the top 25 players to be traded. And we're gonna later on the show, we're gonna talk about the Lane Kiffin thing. College, the conference championship games are set. You got the penultimate college football playoff rankings coming out today, so you guys can all cuss and discuss about that nonsense, and that is nonsense. We got latest rumors and free agency and everything going on in Major League Baseball. Take a look at some of the minor league prospects for the Padres coming up, mostly from the catching situation. And then an interesting topic of discussion that we've already talked about multiple times, but a different angle on it, was MLB Network was discussing the whole Mason Miller situation. Now, we have some insight from Dan Plesac saying that Mason Miller wouldn't mind getting an opportunity to be a starting pitcher. Doesn't sound like Ruben Niebla is totally against it either. So there's some interesting conversation to be had about that, because the whole conversation we have had about the Mason Miller, should he be a starter or not, starts with, well, does he want to? And we might have an answer on that. We're going to talk about that in the 11 o'clock hour as we dive deeper into baseball, always in the 11 o'clock hour during the offseason. We'll talk about the Lane Kiffin saga and what really went down. College coaching carousel continues to be wild. We'll reshape that 12:30 at 1 o'clock hour, mostly NFL. I noticed this in the Sunday night game. We're going to discuss it at 1 o'clock, something that a lot of people might have not missed or might have missed in the coin toss of that game. I immediately saw it and was like, well, they screwed that up. That's not how it's supposed to work. We'll talk about that in the 1 o'clock hour. We got some college basketball going on as well. But when we come back, we're going to take a look at what Jeff Passan put out. Trade candidates. There are some names that are linked to the Padres in this article, at least team fits. And there's a couple Padres that fit this list of potential to be traded or a good trade candidate. One Padre, about 25% chance getting traded. Who is it? We'll talk about him when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on 97.3 The Fan, join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. We have 2 ticket giveaways today. Tickets to Zach Bryan on July 31st at Snapdragon Stadium, and tickets to the Aztecs basketball game against Utah Valley tomorrow night at Viejas Arena, where you can get your tickets at goaztecs.com. We'll be doing that in the 1 o'clock hour coming up later on in the show. Now, I want to get to some of the stuff that's Padres related. We don't get a lot of Padres news during the offseason too much, although we've already had a lot of Padres news in the offseason so far. So we like taking advantage of it when we get a look at it. Now, let's take a look at what Kylie McDaniel and Jeff Passan put out on ESPN.com today. And if you want to go look at it, it's on ESPN.com. They look at 25 players that have a potential of being traded at the at this offseason. Who their potential fits are. And on the list is one Padre. We're going to get to that in a second. But what they have is reason for to be traded, percentage chance of being traded, all that sort of stuff. So let's dive into this a little bit. The number one on the list, to no one's surprise, is Tarik Skubal. Now, we're including Tarik Skubal on this, not to say that the Padres are going to actually trade for him, but Detroit wants a huge package for this deal. Padres fans could dream about an ace like Tarik Skubal, but obviously not listed as a fit for San Diego. He is essentially unavailable, by the way. Jeff Passan has the odds listed at 10% that Tarik Skubal gets traded. San Diego could use some pitching, but their limited payroll makes it unrealistic. But his market impacts, obviously, prices for the lesser pitching that the Padres could target. He's a back-to-back AL Cy Young Award winner, best changeup in baseball. His velo is up, 190-plus innings. So he's got durability. Tigers have zero intention of moving him. But potential trade candidate, nonetheless. 10% chance. I'm going to bring Frank in for a second. Higher or lower percentage chance that he gets traded?
Lower.
Lower. I don't think he's trading.
He's not. He will be a Detroit Tiger next year.
Now, our Michigan fans in the chat are also Tiger fans. They are a little bit more pessimistic about it. Jake Waters in the chat goes, the Tigers are dumb, so 10%, maybe more like 50%. I don't see that being the case. So he's number one on the list. Now, the number one player on the list that involves the Padres in terms of a fit comes in as number 3 player on the overall list of best trade candidates. And it's Freddie Peralta. 3.30 ERA since 2021. Consistent 165-plus innings recently. Low slot fastball, heavy profile, plus changeup, strong command. He's a true number 2 starter who could stabilize rotation behind Musgrove, post Tommy John, and Nick Pivetta. It's an interesting fit for the Padres. Now, what did Jeff Passan say about Freddie Peralta? He's most likely to get traded if, who was it, Brandon Woodruff decided to sign his deal?
Yes, yeah.
He decided to sign the
tender, the contract, the offer sheet.
Yes. So he signed the qualifying offer. Is the exact name for it.
Those are the words.
Those are the words. Now, for the Padres, one of the most realistic fits in terms of upper-tier pitching that the Padres could go get. He's only got a year left on his contract. It's $8 million. Very affordable for the Padres in a payroll crunch. Milwaukee might trade him only for a blow-away package. The question becomes whether San Diego is willing to strip the top of its farm again. Now, to me, I don't see a sense like Freddie Peralta fits the Padres. I agree with that. They need starting pitching. They need affordable starting pitching. They could probably use a little bit more affordable, controllable starting pitching. But with Freddie Peralta only being on a 1-year deal, unless you think you can extend him, which we haven't seen the Padres do with a lot of the players that they bring in via trade, I don't know if I'm willing to send a blow-away package for a 1-year player, Frank.
No, I would. That's one of those trade and sign deals. Like I would want to have a contract already in place. I'd want to have him ready to sign. Just need to do the trade, and then immediately announce the signing of the deal. That's what I would want out of it.
I don't want to trade away like a. I mean, I don't think they're going to trade away Ethan Salas, but if they ask for like a guy like Ethan Salas, like, no, thumbs down. Moving on to the next guy. Now, here's one that's very interesting, too. Padres are listed as a potential fit for Reds right-hander Hunter Green, which is interesting that the Reds would even trade Hunter Green. Fastest hitter in Major League Baseball among starters. He averages 99.4 miles an hour. Slider is now plus after gaining velocity. Still has never thrown more than 150 innings in a season, obviously because the guy throws the you-know-what out of the ball. Most electric arm San Diego could target, but the Reds have Green on a mega team-friendly deal, 4 years, $60 million. To me, that's just going to be way too expensive.
Yeah.
That is a young, controllable player, right?
Yep.
Are you willing to give up Ethan Salas for a guy like Hunter Green?
I mean, you have Freddie Fermin.
You have Freddie Fermin for a decent amount of time.
That's the only reason why I would. That's the only reason why I would even consider it, is how little Hunter Green is getting paid, and you have Freddie Fermin. That's why I would consider getting rid of Ethan Salas for that.
If you were going to give up a guy like Ethan Salas, it would have to be for a starting pitcher.
Yeah, plus, Ethan Salas has not proven that he can play a full season yet, and he's not even 20.
Now, if he turns into a phenomenal catcher for the Reds, hey, so be it.
That stinks, but
Hunter Green is 26 years old. He has a 6-year, $53 million contract with a 2029 club option. He's under control until 2029. Now, his club option in 2029 is $21 million, which even at that sense, that's a pretty affordable deal. Now, he doesn't throw a lot of innings, but you know how much money is charged to the AAV? $8.8 million. He's getting 8.3 this year, 15.3 in 2027, and 16.3 in 2028. I think he got a big chunk of his change last year.
yeah, he got it. Yeah.
No, he didn't. He got 6.3 million.
No, it's a backloaded contract.
Super backloaded contract, but only 8.3 towards the AAV. Honestly, that's not a bad thing to pursue if I'm the San Diego Padres.
No.
It says in the article like some names that potentially you'd have to give up for it, but it's not a bad idea. Now the team fits for Hunter Green. They list the Padres, the Giants, Orioles, Mets, Athletics, and the Diamondbacks. If you're going to trade a guy like Ethan Salas, to me, getting a starting pitcher for the next 3 years under contract is kind of a big deal.
Yes.
Especially since you look at your starting rotation right now and you have Joe Musgrove. And that's basically
Nick
it.
Pivetta.
Yeah, but I'm talking like long term. Like it's Joe Musgrove.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not Nick Pivetta.
Yeah.
Nick Pavetta's gone at the end of the year.
Well, allegedly.
Most likely gone at the end of the year. He's got an opt-out, right?
Yes, he does. He's got an opt-out after this year and
next year.
Yeah.
He is getting $20 million this year, but then he gets 14 next year, and then it jumps to 18. And I mean, he'd have to really pitch poorly for him to not take the opt-out. Which in that case, then you wouldn't have.
And even in that case, I think he's said, well, look what I did a couple of years ago. I could do that again. Still get the money for it.
I just don't see they didn't specifically name it, but they're talking about how the Reds want to have more bats and stuff like that, like young controllable bats. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's if they want
Salas fits in that.
Salas fits, but if they want Jackson Merrill and be like, yeah, kick rocks. No, thank you. That's an interesting option though. But he's listed at you're the Reds and they're right there ready to compete. And they got a lot of young controllable players. Why would you trade away Hunter Green? Jeff Passan's got him at a 10% chance of getting traded.
And they're a solid team too. They're competitive. It's not like they're out of it. They made moves late in the year. They were very close. They were right on the heels for that final wild card spot last year as well, right up until the very end. So that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because that feels like a tear down move, and you're not going to get the reward for said move for a couple of years. So it doesn't make sense for them to make.
They got
that trade.
Chase Burns down there. I mean, he's like the next Hunter Green. But
no, I know they made the postseason, but they turned it around. They were right in the hunt.
If you look at their roster, like their estimated payroll this year is $98 million. Hunter Green's the second highest paid player on that team by $20,000. Brian Hayes makes the most money on that team at $8.8 million. But it's the same thing.
And that wasn't even a contract that Cincinnati made. That was Pittsburgh's contract.
Right. And that's another thing. Like when you looked at Pittsburgh, it's like, what, you signed this guy to be your future and then you traded him away? I just find it interesting that Hunter Green would be on the market. I don't think he's actually going to get traded. But I think that's not a bad fit for the San Diego Padres. The next one on the list, in terms of starting pitching, that San Diego is listed as a potential fit, Pablo Lopez of the Twins. We talked about Pablo Lopez when he was a Marlin.
Yep.
Before he got traded to the Twins. A perfect theoretical San Diego target, number 2 starter, 2 years of control, reasonable money at $43 million. Twins do value him highly. The forearm shoulder issues last year make this a gamble. San Diego may not have the depth to absorb. His sweeper is emerging. Prior 180-plus inning durability before the 2025 injuries. Price tag tricky because of expiring CBA in 2027. I look at a guy like Pablo Lopez, and here's the thing with the Twins, because a lot of people talk about with Joe Ryan, and Joe Ryan's under control for the next 2 years. Pablo Lopez is under control for the next 2 years. Pablo Lopez is going to cost you $18 million towards the AAV, but for the Twins, at this point in time, the trade deadline that they had, this is a time for them to just cut bait with anything that's not tied down to the ship should be sent packing. And if Byron Buxton is going to waive his no trade clause, send him out. Send out Pablo Lopez. Send out Joe Ryan. Anybody that's not under contract through at least 2029 should be sent out if you're a Minnesota Twin.
Yeah, this is where you're doing full on rebuild, full on roster reset. You're not going to be competitive for a couple of years. Sure, it's going to stink. It's going to hurt while you're doing it. Most likely still going to be better than the White Sox, no matter what you do. But yeah, this is one of those times where you're in full rebuild mode right now.
So in order of like the players we've talked about, not really interested in Freddie Peralta for a 1-year deal. I know it's $8 million. Not really interested. Very interested in Hunter Green, which who wouldn't be?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's Pablo Lopez on there as well. I would go Hunter Green, Pablo Lopez, and then Freddie Peralta, because the money that the prospect capital you save in Pablo Lopez, you spend on payroll. And the money you save on payroll with Hunter Green, you spend on prospect or maybe major league talent that you send to Cincinnati. But those are, you're going to have to give something up in order to, get a trade. One of the other realistic names, and we're going to get to a couple more pitchers before we start talking about position players. And then the Padres player that is the only one listed on this 25 potential trade candidates for the offseason. And we'll do that in the next segment. Chris Bubik of the Royals, left-handed pitcher, one of the most realistic middle rotation upside adds for San Diego. Kansas City needs outfield bats. I don't know if San Diego's going to trade anything. They're not going to be able to trade any of their starting guys for that. I wouldn't. It might be more of a prospect deal. He's got a shoulder injury late in the year last year. Strong performance pre-injury. Had a breakout season. Sub-3 ERA. All-star. Added a slider in 2025. Not a lot of upside, but I don't know. You've got a major league. If it's going to cost you a major league bat in the outfield, I don't necessarily know if that's a good move.
I would like to see a lefty in the rotation on a normal everyday basis.
He's a 1-year guy too, because he's in arbitration for 1 more year. He's projected to get $6 million.
Okay. That's a trade where I feel like Tirso Ornelas would be the headline player in like 5 or 6 different minor leaguers going back Kansas City's way for him to try to make up the value. instead of just one big guy.
I'd agree with that. Next one on the list is Edward Cabrera. Padres listed as a fit right-handed pitch for the Marlins. One of the best upside plays. Said he could take high-octane fastball at 97 miles an hour, 3+ off-speed pitches. Durability is kind of a red flag for Edward Cabrera. Said he might like this because he comes cheaper than Peralta and Lopez. A couple of things that Ruben Niebla needs to change. He's got a poor fastball shape, but slider curve change are all legit. 3 years of team control for Edward Cabrera. You've made multiple trades with the Marlins before. They obviously like a lot of the players that the Padres have. And right now, if Edward Cabrera is available at trade, he's arbitration eligible for the next 3 years. He's expected to get $3.7 million at 27 years old. You get him for 27, 28, and 29 before he's a free agent. He's another guy that I'd be willing to give up some prospect capital for.
Lengthy injury history, though.
Correct. That's why I wouldn't give up like an Ethan Salas.
Yeah, true. But they're going to want an Ethan Salas for him. He threw over 100 innings for the first time in his career last year. So Cabrera, while it is enticing, I think is the one that of the people on the list that we've mentioned so far comes with the most risk.
I think you'll find another Jacob Marcy to send to him.
Graham Pauley,
another big guy. I just, the thing is with the trades, it's like we always assume it's like, oh, I got to give up an Ethan Salas, and then the Padres never give up an Ethan Salas. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I guess they had other guys that they valued a little bit more. Last name on the list in terms of pitching, or that was it in terms of pitching. There's a couple other players that are position players that we want to get to as well. And another, like, here's an interesting one.
Oh, there is one more on here.
It's later down on the list.
Yeah.
It's funny that Pablo Lopez was listed as a Padres fit, but like Joe Ryan was not on this particular list. Mackenzie Gore could potentially be traded. He's 9th on this 25 trade candidates list. He's not listed as a Padres potential fit, which I find interesting. And the other one, CJ Abrams might be traded. Can you imagine a world where the Padres trade back for CJ Abrams and
you have no need to.
Mackenzie Gore?
You have no need to.
CJ Abrams is getting outfield reps.
But you've got,
who's your shortstop of the future? It's not Xander Bogaerts.
Perdomo, the kid they got out of.
How old is he? 18.
He's got time. Xander's not done next year.
Yeah, but his time is ticking at shortstop. I just think it'd be funny for everybody that was like, we should have never traded these guys. Hey, look, they're back. It's possible to do.
We traded Juan Soto for nothing. Who would have thought?
Who's the best trade candidate for the Padres to get as much back? We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Breaking down some potential trade candidates in Major League Baseball, as pointed out by Jeff Passan and Kyler McDaniel on ESPN.com. And on this list, there's a handful of options at starting pitcher that the Padres might be able to pursue. Hunter Green is listed, Freddie Peralta, Pablo Lopez. I mean, I think all of those are going to come with a little bit of a extra expense. Talking about Edward Cabrera, Chris Bubik. Some of the other names that are on this list of the Padres are listed as a fit. Now, most of that is just money that these players are owed, as well as need for the San Diego Padres. There's a couple other players on this list, or at least one other player that they mentioned, Mitch Keller, included. Potentially could be a trade candidate. But when you look at who the Padres have available, there is a name that pops up. I think a lot of people have talked about this. We've talked about it the last couple of years. I think it is the most logical trade piece to get as much value for that doesn't involve like a full no trade clause and makes sense in terms of getting payroll subsided and opening up another opportunity to help your team. And that's Jake Cronenworth. Now, Jeff Passan has him on the list and lists the likelihood of the Padres trading Jake Cronenworth at about 25%. 25% chance of a trade. San Diego needs payroll relief, and they need pitching. Cronenworth's contract is the clearest money-moving path, as pointed out by Jeff Passan. His value, versatility, high floor, left-handed bat, low strikeouts. He's a solid player, not a spectacular player. He's more obviously attractive to clubs like Seattle and Pittsburgh, Miami, Kansas City. And in order for Jake Cronenworth's contract to be fully taken, he probably has to, AJ Preller, throw in some type of prospect to kind of sweeten the deal. To me, I think this is the most likely trade candidate for the Padres. I think it is. Because, again, here's the deal. Like, we talked about the relative area the Padres expect to be in when it comes to payroll. They said they're going to be around kind of where they were last year. They have a little bit of room to move up. And their estimated payroll is about $201 million. I think they're going to be in a range of about $30 million to spend. And I think that might be a little high. It could be a little low. I think that's in the realm of possibility. So we see somebody in the chat goes like, Why are we even entertaining the idea of trading? Well, we only have $30 million and you're trying to upgrade your starting pitching and upgrade the bullpen and get another bat. $30 million isn't enough to do all those things. It's just not. If you free up $11.4 million on the AAV and a guy like Jake Cronenworth, now all of a sudden you can use that money in a little other spot. You can use it for pitching. You can use it for something else. I mean, Jake Cronenworth is going to be 32 years old next year. You still have to pay him until 2030. You're going to pay him for his age 32, 33, 34, 35, 36 season when he becomes a free agent in 2031. He's a good player. He can help out a lot of teams. But right now for the Padres, he might be the expendable piece. And to me, he's the only piece that makes sense to trade if you're looking to improve your roster by cutting a little payroll. There's nobody else on that roster that's worth trading. Yeah, sure, if somebody wants to take all of Xander Bogaerts' contract and he waives his no-trade clause, sure, that'd be great. But it's not realistic. Manny Machado's not going anywhere. I know a lot of people on the East Coast would love to see Fernando Tatis Jr. in pinstripes of either the New York Mets or the New York Yankees, but you know what? That's probably not feasible either. Nor would it be really well thought of here in San Diego. Yu Darvish isn't getting traded. Jackson Merrill's got a team-friendly contract. But I don't know why you would trade him at this point. That doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't really save you that much money in the grand scheme of things. So the only name that could potentially be traded is Jake Cronenworth, in my opinion. I don't think there's a lot of other moves right there, Frank, aside from maybe Jake getting traded. If the Padres decide to trade, and again, Jeff Passan listed as a 25% chance of him getting traded.
He really is. If you go through the lineup, he's the only one. He's the only one that it's going to be difficult to trade him because of that contract that he's got. But of the guys that you can move and live without, Jake is the guy, unfortunately. And this is the point we were at a couple of years ago where we asked the question, well, do you see Ha-Seong Kim as the future, or do you see Jake Cronenworth as the future? And then it was, do you see Jake Cronenworth or Ha-Seong Kim as the future, or do you see CJ Abrams as the future? And they chose Jake Cronenworth through both of those deals. I think now, if there is a time to let Jake Cronenworth go, I think now would be the time. If there's a way you can upgrade your roster, possibly shed a little bit of payroll. Yes, you're going to need another middle infielder, whether by sign or by trade, or if you have someone that you think can fill the spot now in the minor league system. But if you're going to trade Jake Cronenworth, I think now is the best and most opportune time for you to do that.
Now, in doing so, you could potentially free up some money to go get somebody else. So let's talk about this for a second. There is other trade candidates for the Padres. We talked about the pitching, right? Because the Padres need pitching. The Padres also need a DH and a first baseman. Okay? Does anybody else disagree with that? No. They need a DH / first baseman. Oh, and one that's most likely they need a power bat. So a couple of names that were listed for the Padres in terms of fit. Yandy Diaz, first baseman for the Rays. If the Padres do in fact trade Jake Cronenworth, they will need a first baseman, obviously. Diaz gives a right-handed on-base percentage and contact, exactly what kind of looking for, the higher OBP, affordable contract. Rays aren't eager sellers, but could move them. 300 hitter with 25 homer upside. Defense and base running is limited. I mean, you'd be paying for a guy that's got a little bit extra pop, probably not that great defensively or on the bases, but a decent bat for the San Diego Padres if the Rays decide to move this man.
Pass.
I would pass too. I'd rather have Ryan O'Hearn. Is that worth a trade, right? Yandy Diaz?
No.
For $12 million, you could probably get Ryan O'Hearn for the same.
If you
He's also
are
34 years old.
Yeah, no, if you're looking at first baseman right now, which the next person on the list is a first baseman, you're going to have to do better than Ryan O'Hearn.
Yandy Diaz is $9 million towards the luxury tax. 1-year deal. You would have to, he would have to get him in a steal.
Yeah, it's about the same as O'Hearn.
O'Hearn's probably going to get anywhere between $7 to $12 million. Wilson Contreras is the next one on the list. Interesting DH first base fit if the Padres want a pure middle order bat. Full no trade clause does complicate things for the Cardinals. They're trying to get rid of this guy. They're also trying to get rid of Arenado. Good bat speed, very steady production, but he's owed $41 million over 2 years. Very expensive for San Diego unless St. Louis eats the majority of that contract. He did convert to first base full-time in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
One of the top 3 defensive first basemen last year, according to this article. To me, unless the Cardinals eat most of the money because they just want to get rid of this guy, I don't see it being a fit for the Padres.
No, I agree 100%. He does have a club option. So that's also, so you could have him for 3 years if you wanted it. But yeah, I agree that St. Louis is going to have to eat some serious money if they want that to work.
If you decide to trade for Wilson Contreras, he's 33. He's going to be 33 this season.
Yes.
You'd have him for the 33 and 34-year-old seasons, and then an option in 35. How much money off on the AAV would you solidify, or would it make sense for Wilson Contreras to be a Padre?
Like 25% off.
Like AAV wise, like he's getting $17 million, like $12 million.
Oh, yeah, I'd say that.
Would you rather have him for $12 million?
I would rather have Wilson Contreras for $12 million.
I agree. So if you're the Cardinals, like if the Cardinals really wanted to trade him and they threw in $5 million a year or whatever it is, whatever gets the AAV down to $12 million, really counts to $12 million on your team. It's not a bad pickup if you're the Padres. And right now, like the Cardinals are just trying to shred payroll. They're not really trying to. It's not like they need like a massive return for this guy. They want him gone, and you got to be able to convince Contreras to go to San Diego because he's got the full no trade clause. It's an interesting option. For him to play first base or be the DH for $12 million, that's kind of the going rate for a DH right now. I'm not against it.
No, especially, he's put up, what did I say, 2.7 to a 3.5 WAR over the last 5 years. So I'm okay with that. I would not mind it. But again, you're going to have to eat some money.
Correct. Contreras did get into a lot of arguing matches with the Padres last year in St. Louis. I think he wouldn't care to go to a team that's going to be a contender.
It's veteran leadership as well.
The last one on the list was Brandon Lau, second baseman for the Rays. Padres are listed as a fit only if the Padres trade Jake Cronenworth.
Time out. KG in the chat. I've seen some of these messages here. We don't need to trade anyone. Seriously, the trade conversation is being pushed by people who want us to get rid of our star power and rebuild, get O'Hearn and Iglesias. You had O'Hearn and Iglesias at the end of last year. What happened? You were out in the wild card round. Are we trying to...
Are you running it back?
Yeah. Are we trying to get better or are we trying to stay stagnant? Because getting O'Hearn and getting Iglesias back is just staying stagnant. And staying stagnant did not help you last year.
Correct.
You need to make these moves. You need to figure out a way to get your roster better. And just bringing back everyone who was okay last year didn't get you where you wanted to be.
Lau's on a 1-year, $11.5 million deal.
No. Yes.
Is he better than Jake Cronenworth?
I wouldn't want to be.
He's 31 years old. Unless you trade Jake Cronenworth, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But interesting conversation. What's going on throughout baseball, though? Another big sign yesterday by the New York Mets. We'll talk about it when we come back. August 97 to the Fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. A lot of the trade moves out there. Again, that's stuff that you can afford if you're the San Diego Padres. And a lot of interesting names on that list that the Padres could potentially trade for at the offseason or during the offseason. And again, interesting conversation when it comes to off-season discussions, and we will continue that when we get more news. We're going to get to some MLB news and notes of what's going on in the hot stove in just a second. Do want to get to your phone calls, though, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get to Angelo in San Diego. Angelo, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, man? Angelo, you there? No, he's not. All right, Frank, what's going on in Major League Baseball today?
Well, there was a lot. As the calendar flipped to December, a lot went on. So let's go with the big signing that happened yesterday. And that would be that the New York Mets have agreed to a 3-year, $45 million deal with free agent reliever Devin Williams as they work to upgrade their bullpen. Despite adding Williams, the team still hopes to re-sign longtime closer Edwin Diaz, and Williams is willing to serve as the setup man if Diaz returns. Williams struggled with a 4.79 ERA for the Yankees last year, but underlying metrics such as his 2.68 FIP and 3.04 expected ERA suggest he pitched better than the results showed. His trademark airbender changeup remained effective, and he finished the season strong with several scoreless outings. With his track record and strong finish, the Mets believe Williams could bounce back in 2026 and help form a dominant late-inning combination if Diaz resigns.
I like this move. We talked about this the other day with the Mets, right? Because it was Williams, Diaz, and Helsley were like the options. And I said the best option out there is Devin Williams.
Yes.
Because I think he has the best opportunity to be that back-end guy.
I believe he's got $5 million a year deferred as well. So
hey, look, deferrals.
Yeah, there is some $5 million though, not 68.
Done. Yeah, he's only going to count to $14 million AAV. It's a cheaper option. You don't need to sign Diaz now. I mean, you can if you want to load up your bullpen, which is fine.
They're still very much in on him.
But out of the three, I'd take Devin Williams the most. So we'll see. I mean, you're going to have to give Diaz like $18 to $20 million a year if you want to bring him back. Mets have tons of money.
You're going to have to give him how much?
18 to 20 a year.
How much did he just decide to opt out of?
About $20 million.
There you go. So why did you even bother opting out?
He's probably going to get more than that then. I thought he was at like 17 million.
Oh, he was at 20. It was 4 years, 80, I think it was his contract.
He's expected to get 4 years, 84 on a contract extension, 21 million a year, which is great because he declined the qualifying offer. That's according to Fangraphs. Hey man, stability,
brother.
These guys want stability
for the same money. Anyway, moving on. The Kyle Schwarber market is heating up. Kyle Schwarber's free agent market is heating up ahead of the winter meetings. The Phillies want to re-sign him, but talks aren't close, opening the door for other clubs. The Mets are, quote, in the mix, though it is unclear whether their interest is genuine or strategic, since signing Schwarber would cost draft picks, while re-signing Pete Alonso would not. The Red Sox, Orioles, and Reds are also pursuing Schwarber, with Boston seeking a mid-order bat, Baltimore continuing its aggressive offseason, and Cincinnati offering a hometown connection. According to ESPN's Jeff Passan, it would be a surprise if Schwarber did not sign by the end of the winter meetings.
Those are this week or next week? Next week? December 8th to the 10th next week.
Yeah, so next week.
Here's the thing on Kyle Schwarber for me. Like, if I'm the New York Mets, I'm interested just to drive the price up on the Phillies.
And that's
because according to Fangraphs, and again, take this is just kind of a ballpark estimate. Kyle Schwarber's expected to get a 4-year, $112 million deal, $28 million a year. Pete Alonso is expected to get a 4-year, $106 million deal, $26.7 million towards the AAV. So when comparing the two, first of all, I'd rather have Pete Alonso anyway.
Yes.
And you don't have to give up a draft pick when you sign Pete Alonso because you get him qualified because you did not get a qualifying offer and it's your own guy. So you would not have to give yourself you wouldn't have to give yourself a draft pick anyway. And if you sign Kyle Schwarber, you have to give a draft pick to the Phillies. It makes more sense if you're the Mets to re-sign Pete Alonso.
Yes.
So they're in it to just stir the pot a little bit. Now, as to the other teams, I think the Reds are in just to appease their fans. I don't think they're actually going to sign Kyle Schwarber. I would put them at the lowest percentage chance. Be interesting to see the Reds sign him. They have the money to do that because they're not spending a lot of money on their payroll. But as we talked about when we talked about Hunter Green potentially being traded, Hunter Green's the second highest paid player on the Reds. He's making $8.5 million. So I just don't see it. The Red Sox, to me, are the only team that is going to be able to sign Kyle Schwarber away from Philly.
Yes.
Because the Red Sox need a middle of the order bat, as you mentioned. That will be cheaper than a guy like Alex Bregman, who's going to command a little bit more. You get the middle of the lineup pop that you need. It's a guy that used to play in Boston, albeit for a year. Very hitters-friendly ballpark. The Red Sox, to me, are the only threats to the Phillies in the Kyle Schwarber sweepstakes. I mean, Baltimore,
you can make the case for Baltimore because Baltimore can say, hey, look, we're spending money. We're in on this.
Spend
We
money
got to
on
fight.
pitching.
No, I agree.
They
but
continue to do the dumb things.
Well,
they have a bunch of star players, the young future stars that they didn't want to give up for pitching. That's where they have their team. They need to get it in. They need pitching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, $28 million a year on Kyle Schwarber for the Orioles is a waste of money. You're setting it on fire when you have nobody that can pitch. Even though they went out and got Helsley yesterday. To me, they need to focus on pitching more than getting a guy like Kyle Schwarber who's going to hit a $180 and hit 50 home runs. Let the Red Sox do that.
Well, as you do. Next up, we mentioned the Kansas City Royals before. The Kansas City Royals are open to trading one of their starting pitchers this offseason if it helps them upgrade their outfield. According to GM JJ Piccolo, Chris Bubik is entering the final year of his of team control, but injury concerns may limit his trade value. Veterans Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha are less likely to be moved, so that shifts attention to ace Cole Ragans. Ragans is controllable through 2028 and would bring a strong return, although dealing him would be surprising. The Red Sox are viewed as a potential match because of their deep outfield group and the Royals' interest in Jarren Duran, but it is unclear whether Boston is motivated to offer the significant package needed to acquire Cole Ragans.
I'm curious to see what they do with some of these players that they have to potentially move. It'd be typical Royals stuff, right? Just constantly flipping over their lineup all the time.
Mm-hmm.
On to the next one.
The Blue Jays and the Marlins have interest in the same late inning reliever. With mid-tier closers quickly signing this offseason, Raisel Iglesias to the Braves and Ryan Helsley to the Orioles, and now Devin Williams, although he's not mid-tier, to the Mets.
He's definitely not mid-tier.
Pete Fairbanks could be the next one to find a new home. After the Rays declined his 2026 option, Fairbanks hit free agency, and both the Blue Jays and Marlins are showing interest. He represents one of the stronger remaining closer options for teams wanting late inning experience without paying premium price to stars attached like Edwin Diaz or Robert Suarez.
Pete Fairbanks is a good bullpen arm. He's 32 years old, expected to have a 0.7 projected F WAR next year. Relatively cheap. He's expected to get a 2-year, $16 million deal, $8 million in AAV. If I'm the Blue Jays, I'd jump on this fast. I mean, the Marlins, I don't really know what the Marlins are doing. I just don't. I mean, they're going to trade away starting pitching and load up on bullpen arms. I mean, okay.
Yeah, it
cool.
works. That works.
but I think he'd be a good fit in Toronto. And again, you mentioned there's a lot of these guys flying off the board now in terms of relief pitching. That's where you get some deals if you're teams that are looking for building up an asset that doesn't cost a lot. It's bullpen arms.
Absolutely. Staying in South Beach, Miami looking at a king. The Marlins, who are expected to listen to trade offers for Sandy Alcantara and Edward Cabrera, are also exploring major additions to their rotation. According to The Athletic, Miami has shown interest in free agent starter Michael King, who is one of the top arms available. Following a promising 2025 second-half surge under the new president of baseball operations, Pete Bendix, and manager Clayton McCullough, the Marlins appear more willing to spend in this offseason than in past. In addition to targeting starting pitching, Miami is active in the closer market and exploring upgrades at the corner infield spots, signaling a more aggressive approach as they look to build on last season's progress.
A lot of these rumors,
So
though,
you're going to trade Sandy Alcantara and Edward Cabrera, but you're going to sign Michael King.
Yeah. I don't get a lot of these things. Now, this is what I was about to say for these trade rumors, these offseason rumors. It's a lot of talk, it's a lot of bark, and it's not a lot of bite from a lot of teams out there. Like, how many years have we heard from the Giants that they're going to spend money, and then they don't? How many years from the Marlins were like, oh, this is the year we're going to be competitive? Same with the Pirates and the Reds. I think a lot of this is appealing to their fans. Look, we're trying. But the reality is they're not until they start actually making moves. But I agree with you. Like, why sign Michael King and then trade the other guys away?
Yeah, especially if you're looking to build off of last season's success.
Right. Michael King now is expected to get a 4-year, $88 million deal, according to Fangraphs. These update as other players sign. About $22 million a year, which is what he declined from the qualifying offer. Again, it's mostly going to be...
It's projection.
For... what's it called? It's mostly for longevity. Now, in terms of like how they've done Fangraphs, they projected Dylan Cease to get a 5-year, $130 million deal, $26 million a year.
Close.
He ended up getting 7 to 10, which, according to this, said 26 a year on the AAV. So I wonder if there's like deferrals and stuff in there.
I believe there were
for Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
Milwaukee was able to sign Brandon Woodruff. He accepted the qualifying offer. He was expected to get 3 years, 66 at 22 a year, which is on track. Imanaga was supposed to get 2 years, 38, 19 a year. He ends up signing the qualifying offer, so they pay a little bit more than that. And that's, I think, the only guys that have signed where there was a contract projected in terms of pitchers. Other players, I do find it interesting. Like Josh Naylor was expected to get 4 years, 80, 20 a year. He ends up getting 5 years, 92. So went for a little bit less. They usually underprice some of these guys. Gleyber Torres was a qualifying offer. Trent Grisham was a qualifying offer. Phil Maton is expected to get a 1 year, $5 million deal. He got a 2 year, $14.5 million deal. Ends up getting paid a little bit more. Devin Williams was expected to get a 3 year, $42 million deal. He got a 3 year, $51 million deal. So he got an extra.
Well, the 51 is with deferrals and incentives, but it's the 45. So they pretty much nailed his contract dead on.
Yeah, they're pretty close on a lot of these deals. So again, like as we go on through the offseason and talk about potential fits and pricing and everything like that, those are the conversations. We use Fangraphs as a little bit of a guide. And you know what? It's a pretty good guide when it comes to contracts, when you're looking for players and adding it to your list and playing general manager at home. When we come back, a lot has been talked about when it comes to Mason Miller and whether or not he might be a starter. Sounds like the Padres might be willing to give it a chance. What does Mason Miller think? Well, Dan Plesac answered that today on MLB Network. We're going to hear from Dan Plesac and discuss about the Mason Miller conversation. Want to find a way to get starting pitching and make it cheap? Well, convert one of your bullpen guys to a starting pitcher. We'll discuss when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour, 97 to the fans, brought to you by IHOP. Introducing the IHOP value menu, where all your breakfast faves are just $6 each every day. Where else could you get a big, filling, sit-down breakfast for only $6? Go to your happy plates with the $6 IHOP value menu. Available every day at IHOP, $7 in some locations. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. A lot of Padres and baseball talk today, more than I thought we'd get into. We got a lot of football stuff to discuss in the second half of this show. But do want to get into a couple of the things when it comes to the Padres in the offseason. We talked about potential trade candidates that are available for the Padres to go pursue that have fits to the Padres. We've talked about what's going on in Major League Baseball with our hot stove report that we get each and every day at 11 o'clock. Good job by Frank Marchese on that. They get some updates. Sounds like the Giants have checked in on Kyle Schwarber. And I was talking to Frank about this during the break. If you're a good organization, you're probably checking in on almost every free agent, just in general. And just because it's not reported doesn't mean you're not checking in. I mean, I'm sure the Padres have checked in on a lot of free agents that even are guys that the Padres probably can't afford to sign. You got to do your due diligence. And you do get that with AJ Preller. He's got to do his due diligence on a lot of these players and see where you find value. And he really does the best cooking when it comes to trades. So we talked about trade candidates in the first hour. We talked about trade candidates for the Padres to trade away, latest updates in baseball. But we're trying to find different avenues to improve the roster. And where are the biggest needs right now, Frank? There are three needs that you need, really.
Starting pitching,
Correct.
first base,
/ DH. And, you can always use a bullpen arm. Yeah. That's the area of need for the Padres. So it's going to be expensive to get starting pitching. Even when looking at the trade candidates, Frank, you look and it's going to cost you some money.
Mm-hmm.
Or prospect capital. Let's talk about the players that we had listed. Starting pitchers that were linked to the Padres in terms of listed as a fit. Freddie Peralta. Brewers are looking for a haul because he's affordable in terms of his overall salary. Hunter Green, he's controllable and affordable. It's gonna cost you some prospect capital. Pablo Lopez, he's gonna cost you a lot of money. He's got 2 years of control. I mean, these are the players that might be available for trade as you try to find every avenue to improve your starting pitching. Now, Sam's here. You gotta be careful with Sam, dude. He fraternizes with the window too much.
Yes, he does.
He gets too excited to see the window.
Know.
Weird to see him in street clothes, too. He's usually in a suit. He's wearing a hat today. Anyway, distracted.
Why are you impersonating a normal person today?
Yeah, what's going on? He's probably getting ready for the winter meetings next week.
Which, by the way,
Squirrel.
Yeah. It's hard to not notice Sam when he's dancing around the window as he walks by. Yeah. He doesn't he's not like everybody else that just kind of casually walks by. He's they're doing some kind of dance.
He makes a show of it.
Yeah, exactly. MIAM. Sam Levitt. Do you know what that stands for? MIAM?
No.
Make it about me.
Oh.
Sam's just walking across.
Yeah,
hey, I'm the TikTok guy. Hey.
Hey, I'm the TikTok guy.
It's the busiest part of the year for Sam. He's on everybody's TikTok. You think that's just a one recording? No. He's got to record that millions of times. That's the inside scoop. You thought it was just a recording. You think he just does it once. But he's re-recording that every single time.
I'm mad at TikTok right now, actually. My account is suspended, but it's not suspended.
You didn't pay Sam and with that, the 2025 season comes to a close.
I don't post anything. I don't comment anything. So what happened was I opened up TikTok yesterday to see.
The CEO of TikTok is down the hall now.
To see 60 plus PMs.
All fake.
All from bot accounts. All in French, all saying the same thing word for word, all posting the same WhatsApp phone number for number. I reported a handful of them as being bots and being spam. Apparently, TikTok didn't see it that way. So now I am suspended from sending and receiving messages, but my account overall is not suspended.
Okay.
How? Just how?
I don't know. I don't really go on TikTok too often. But Sam Levitt's there. Why don't you ask Sam?
It's fair. Sam, get in here. I'm sure we're playing this at some part of the floor.
Sam's great. I love making fun of Sam. Not really making fun of, but he brings it upon himself with the way he acts around the window.
Yes, he does.
He does a little dance every time. We need a camera outside, just a Sam cam. He doesn't do that when he's on air, though, during the talk shows when he fills in.
No, he doesn't.
It's all serious.
Like I said, the most entertaining part of Sam's streams are during the breaks or during the game.
That's what we need. We have the Gwen and Chris in between segment deals. We need the Sam Levitt in between on the pregame show and make a highlight tape at the end of the season. And then he could go, and with that, the 2025 season comes to an end, and then it's just him in between. That's a lot of footage, though.
It's a lot of footage. It's easy to get with him.
It is. All right, so we got knocked off track a little bit. We need to...
Squirrel!
Yeah. Thanks, Sam. We appreciate it, buddy. We are going to talk about the Mason Miller thing in a second. And here's the deal. What was the biggest point of, not really contention, but the biggest, important factor for the Mason Miller going to be a starter situation? What was the one thing that everybody wanted to get out of it?
Did he want to do it?
Did he want to do it? Well, apparently, Dan Plesac answers that today on MLB Network. Does Mason Miller want to be a starter? We'll tell you when we come back. Got the sports thread coming up next. Remember to listen at 1 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game with all the fan staff. Register your name at 97.3 thefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. All right, we put it out long enough. Let's get to this other version of should Mason Miller be a starting pitcher. This was discussed earlier today on MLB Network with Roflo and Dan Plesac. Added a different tale. It sounded like Dan Plesac has had conversations with people that have talked to Mason Miller. Maybe he's had conversations with Mason Miller himself about what his opinion is on potentially being a starter. Let's hear what MLB Network had to say before we digest further.
And this is Mason Miller. Now, we were at Citi Field during a game prior to for the Padres and the Mets, and there was whispers around the Padres thinking, you know what, Mason Miller, they might try him as a starter next year. What do you make of this possibility? Mason Miller with that electric stuff as a starter for the Padres.
I do know this. I've talked to enough people that have talked about Mason Miller. It's something he wants to do. He would love to be a starting pitcher. And when you throw 98 to 101 like he does, and I thought when they acquired him, that being the Padres, he was about as unhittable as you could get the last couple of weeks this season. Nasty slider. He has a changeup that he didn't use that much coming out of the bullpen. I'm sure he'd like to explore adding that third pitch. So if you're 98 to 102 with a nasty slider, and it would give him time to work on that changeup. And he, along like Helsley, if you make this decision, this is what the Padres want to do, you could give him ample time where he could adjust his workouts and be ready to do this.
You saw the starting options there, so potentially there's a need. But if you look at the bullpen options, remember, Robert Suarez is a free agent. He decided to opt out. So there's this other layer, Dan, of, well, we have needs in the bullpen, but also in the rotation. What do you think?
It's going to be a really good idea, I think, for Mason Miller and the Padres until opening day when they have a 4-2 lead in the ninth inning and Mason Miller sitting on the bench and not having that big right arm out in that bullpen.
Yes.
You do know this. One thing you do know for certain, he has the stuff to close. He's been a really successful closer. So if the intrigue is, can he make the transition from using two pitches, the fastball, the slider, to incorporating that third pitch? And if he wants to do it, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be successful.
There's almost two layers of preparation if you're going to do the transition, I would think. There's the conditioning aspect, but also there's the stuff aspect that has to be refined and tweaked. Yes?
The biggest transition from going from the bullpen to the starting rotation. When you're pitching well, like Mason Miller has done, you have very few poor performances. When it gets dicey being a starter, when you've had 2 or 3 starts and you got to sit around and mope around and overthink and overanalyze that, you have a bad game on Monday in the bullpen, you're right back out there on Tuesday. And if you have a clean 1, 2, 3 inning, you forgot about that game on Monday. You have a lousy start on Monday, then a lousy start the following Saturday. Then all of a sudden you start hearing a lot of voices. You need to change this, change your mechanics, look to do this. You're not sequencing your pitches good enough. So listen, both of them are very difficult to do. I personally thought it was much easier to go from the rotation into the bullpen because you're only going to get seen by a team maybe 1 or 2 times over the course of a couple of months. You eliminate the third or fourth pitch because you really don't have time to establish them. But a guy like Mason Miller, a guy with a big arm like that, I don't see why he wouldn't be good at it.
I think we all know he'd be good at it. He'd be good at it. I think the biggest concern would be health. But if he wants to do it, and it sounds like the Padres are contemplating this, I think it's worth the shot. Again, I'm going to keep saying it. I mean, now's the time where you contemplate this and let him adjust his workouts, as Dan Plesac said, and try to see if he can do it. I think he can be successful. I think the biggest concern is health. Now, here's the thing that we've seen a lot, Frank. And it's the question of like, well, he's such a good closer. What's more valuable to the Padres? What's more valuable to any Major League Baseball team?
You need to have
starting pitcher, but here you can't say just ace versus closer because there's no guarantee that Mason Miller would be an ace of the staff. He'd be a top 3 pitcher though. Would he not?
Yeah.
He'd be a top 3 guy in your rotation.
They put up.
Who's more valuable, a top 3 guy in the rotation or a closer?
You need to have the starting pitching to make it to where the closer can even be used.
Correct.
They put up on the screen there during that police explanation the rotation options for the Padres this year. Ready?
Yeah.
Joe Musgrove,
Coming
Nick
off of
Pivetta,
TJ, Nick Pivetta,
Randy Vasquez.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not excited about him being. I'm not excited about him being the number 3 starter, but
He's a 4 or 5.
I'm comfortable with it for the moment. Matt Waldron, J.P. Sears, and Kyle Hart.
Right.
Those are your options.
Currently.
You need to have the starter to make it to where the closer can be used.
Correct.
And if they believe, and if Mason Miller wants to do it, and if the team believes that Miller is capable of doing it without throwing his arm off, give it a shot. Correct. Now is the time. If you're going to do it, now is the time.
I agree with that 100%. You're going to see if he could do it right now or not. I mean, I don't think they're going to push to a point where his arm gets blown out in just one off season. I think you have to give it a chance because you have to find somebody to start. It's a lot easier to find closers than it is to find good starting pitchers. Great starting pitchers. And for the Padres, I mean,
when who push closes? Morahone, Estrada.
Closes. Estrada, maybe. I mean, you could go down the list of just other bullpen arms. You can go sign.
Who could be your 7th inning guy? We all loved to see Bradley Rodriguez last year. That was fun to watch.
Right. The reality is it's easier to fill out your bullpen and cheaper to fill out your bullpen than it is to fill out your starting rotation. The closing role is like, to me, I don't even think like the closing role is that valuable to a team. I don't believe in it. And when you start looking, and this is why I don't believe in it, because in the course of my existence on this planet being a Padres fan, the guy that has been sent to the All-Star game more times than not has been the Padres closer. They find ways to make closers happen. I'm not concerned about it. Go down the closer list for the San Diego Padres. It's like, hey, Heath Bell, Houston Street. I mean, obviously Trevor Hoffman. They had guys like Mike Adams and Luke Gregerson. I mean, the bullpen arms they could always replace. Always. But you can't always find good starting pitching. You can't find good starting pitching that's not going to cost you a fortune. You need good starting pitching. And if you don't have good starting pitching, there's no reason to have a closer. He's never going to be used enough. It's going to be wasted in the bullpen. Having bad starting pitching and a great closer is that meme of that trailer park where they got the Ferrari in the driveway. It's not the value you're looking for. And for everybody that's in on like B War and F War, Mason Miller and bullpen arms don't acquit for a lot of, big WAR numbers because you don't know why? They're not used a lot. 60 innings? Is that how many innings that Mason Miller threw last year?
I would have to go look.
It's like 50 or 60 innings. That's not valuable to a team when he could be going out there and giving you 125 innings, maybe 140 innings. I just think you can't value a closer over a starting pitcher. That's just asinine.
Mason Miller threw 62 and a third innings last year.
62 and a third innings. You're trying to find value in this potential deal. I mean, yeah, he'd be a great closer. It's the same thing with, it's my entire conversation about like Jake Cronenworth playing first base. The guy came up as a shortstop. Of course, he's got to play good at first base. He's got to play well at first base. He's going to play good defensive first base. Guy's a shortstop. But that doesn't give you the highest value of Jake Cronenworth. It's not a first baseman. He does not. First base is for like guys that hit for power. When you got a guy as electric as Mason Miller who wants to have an opportunity to start and can go out there and be a legit starting pitcher, you have to entertain it. You cannot let him being a good closer prevent you from giving him an opportunity to be a starting pitcher. That is where you start getting into a I don't believe comment. That is a nickel holding up a dollar.
And we discussed it the day the trade happened because we were on air. We had Dallas Braden on the day the trade happened. We discussed that if you're trying to get the most value out of this that you possibly can, giving up a guy like Leonidas DeVries, the most value you're going to get is to get Mason Miller to be a starter.
Correct. We talked about that when the trade happened.
Right. So Miller becoming a starter makes that trading of Leonidas DeVries hurt a little bit less. Now, if he can't do it, he can't do it. You just move him back to the bullpen. Nothing changes. But if you think he can do this, you have to do it during the off season where he can get his mindset, he can physically get ready to be a starting pitcher. You can't do it in the middle of the season because then you lose him completely.
Well, what if he only pitches 4 innings in his first 2 months? What if he pitches 6? What if he pitches 2?
What if? And what is
it's still more valuable than him sitting in the bullpen.
Starting pitchers don't pitch more than 4 or 5 innings in the first month because they're all trying to ramp up anyway.
Correct.
You're not going to see Joe Musgrove throw more than 4 or 5 innings in April because that's just the way it starts.
The Tommy John. Correct.
Exactly. He's going to throw even less because of that. Nick Pivetta, you're not going to see him throwing 6, 7 innings a night in April. That's just the way pitchers are. That's how pitchers start their season. They don't throw a lot of innings. You rely on the bullpen a lot
in the first
first month, where while the starters get stretched out. That's how that works.
Who in that current starting rotation is going to give you 7 innings a game right now?
No one.
Nobody.
Nick Pivetta.
Maybe Pivetta.
Pivetta has the best shot at doing it, but
maybe
no
Pivetta.
one.
So you would rather have Randy Vasquez. Not even Randy. I mean, Randy's a good 4 or 5. But you'd rather have like Matt Waldron and Kyle Hart go out there and get shelled, and then you don't even get to use Mason Miller in games that they pitch in?
Possibly even worse.
Correct. It's a lot easier to find bullpen help than it is to find starting pitching help. This is why you have to entertain these things. You have to make bold moves.
Strong bullpen.
When you're in the situation that you're currently in.
Strong bullpen with specific roles. Okay. Estrada, 8th inning. Adam, when he comes back, goes to the 8th inning. Morahone is your closer. Estrada goes back to the 7th inning for the second half of the year. Bradley Rodriguez could be your 7th inning guy. David Morgan can be your 7th inning guy. It's not as dire.
And the bullpen, the farm system actually has bullpen arms aplenty.
Yes.
That is like the one luxury that you currently have in the farm system. And it's a lot cheaper to find bullpen arms than it is to find starting pitching arms. Or you spend $20 million on a guy that's going to get you a 4-something ERA. It's your choice. I'm just telling you. This is the situation the Padres are in. They can't afford to pay $30 million for 60 innings. Like the Dodgers do with Blake Snell. They can't afford to do that. So you have a very good asset in the bullpen in Mason Miller. It's great. Is Frank Thomas still available?
Yes, Frank Thomas is still available.
But the reality of the situation is if Mason Miller can ramp up and be a starting pitcher and it doesn't affect him potentially getting hurt, then you got to give it a shot.
What about making Morahone a starter? Well, I mean, that's also options that have been talked about, but it looks like the Padres now, their focus is on making Mason Miller a starter, especially since he said he wants to be a starter.
And the Padres know that he's an elite bullpen arm. And they know he's going to be an elite bullpen arm, and they got a good backup plan with him being a bullpen arm.
There is a chance that Morahone said, you know what? I've found my niche. I'm having success now for the first time in my career. I want to stay here. I don't want to change it. There's a chance he said that.
But you look at what you're going to have to pay for starting pitching based on projected numbers on Fangraphs, right? Ranger Suarez is going to get, 25 a year, 28 a year for Framber Valdez. Merrill Kelly might be getting 16 a year. Chris Bassett, 18 a year. Verlander. I mean, you're starting to get to guys that are in the middle of the pack, and they're getting elite bullpen arm money. Like Zach Littell is expected to get $12 million, $18 million for Lucas Giolito at age 31. I mean, you're supposed to get $14 million to Nick Martinez, where you can go to the bullpen side of things. Again, it's a lot easier to get bullpen arms because they're not pitching as many innings, and you can get elite bullpen help for the same price. I mean, if you moved Mason Miller to the starting rotation, you could theoretically sign the second best bullpen arm available in Robert Suarez for $15 million a year, which is what you would get for a guy like Nick Martinez to be a middle-of-the-road starter. You can get good relief pitching for $10 million. I mean, Ryan Helsley signed for $14 million. That's like 3 to 4 starting rotation level money. Again, it's about creating value. And so the fact that Mason Miller is interested in this, I think, is worth the conversation. I think it's worth seeing what he's got. And then again, as we've mentioned multiple times, if it's a health thing, then keep it in the bullpen. But it's worth the shot, Frank.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. If he wants to do it, that's the biggest thing, is if he wants to do it, which it sounds like he does, that is the biggest hurdle cleared.
I wouldn't be like forcing him to do it. All right, let's get to today's sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All right, Frank, what do we got today in the sports world?
We're gonna move around a little bit since these were from yesterday, and we have some of these stories in today.
Number 1.
Detroit Lions center Frank Ragnow will not return to play in 2026 after failing his physical, the team announced. Ragnow, who retired in June after 7 injury-filled seasons, planned a comeback, but team doctors discovered a grade 3 hamstring strain, ending any chance of him playing this season. Coach Dan Campbell said the team is disappointed, but understands the severity of the injury. The Lions still hold Ragnow's contractual rights through 2026, though no decision has been made about his long-term future. Do you think the Lions should consider Ragnow as part of their long-term plans for 2026, or is it time to cut ties?
I mean, he's not coming back. So I don't know why you would hang on to this guy. I mean, what does he go on the reserved retired list or something?
So, yeah.
I mean, there's no hurt in keeping him on there. It's not like you have to pay him. He's going to be retired.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Number 2.
The main ice hockey venue for the 2026 Milan Cortina Olympics, the new 16,000-seat Santa Giulia Ice Hockey Arena, is behind schedule and is still under construction. Test events have already been delayed, and organizers admit there is no backup plan if the arena is not completed on time. Despite the uncertainty, Games officials remain optimistic that the venue will be ready for the first Olympic hockey game to begin on February 5th, just one day before the opening ceremony. The tight timeline is concerning because Olympic arenas are normally undergo extensive testing months in advance. If a major Olympic venue risks not being finished on time, should organizer create a backup site, even if it means a lower capacity or reduced quality?
Well, I mean, they have to have a backup site. What are they going to do? Not play him?
Said they have no plan.
They have no plan. That's it.
No plans.
If they're just going to cancel hockey, if
would
that
be
thing doesn't get built.
And this is the first time that the pros are allowed back in the Olympics in a long time.
I'm sure they have a backup plan somewhere. Despite what they say, they're probably just like, well, we're going to get this thing done. But if it doesn't get done in time, they have to play it somewhere. I mean, they're not going to not play it. There's too much money involved. They're not going to not play it.
Outdoor rink in the Coliseum, baby. I'm here for it.
Number 3.
The
Seats
NCAA
might suck.
the NCAA Division I Basketball Oversight Committee proposed that the transfer notification windows open for 15 days after the men's and women's NCAA tournaments, April 7th through the 21st for men's and April 6th through the 20th for women's, pending cabinet approval in January. They also suggested a new transfer window following coaching changes. Players would have a 15-day period to enter the portal, starting 5 days after a new head coach is announced, or 31 days after the previous coach's departure, and if no hire is made. Players at schools with post January 1st. Basically, college basketball is wanting to shorten the portal season.
As they should.
There
They'll
you
add it in my proposal for different things. The Lane Kiffin saga continues. We have more inside look at that. Well, we'll discuss this portal news when we come back in the noon hours. We transition to college athletics on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station, 97 through the Fan.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
Oh, yes, on 97 to the Fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. I do want to get into a lot of that transfer portal stuff that Frank was mentioning on the sports thread. Didn't get to too much of it today, just because we were running out of time on the Mason Miller conversation.
And again, that was on the college basketball side, not the football side.
Right. As everybody tries to find their own little windows to do things. Now, do you have that report still?
Yeah, I still have it up.
All right, let's talk about this for a second before we dive into the other drama in college football.
All right, so
and college athletics in general. All right, so college basketball is looking for a new timeline for a transfer portal. It sounds like they're probably trying to copy what football does, which is relatively the same thing. 30 days, after a coach gets let go, you have an additional 15 days or 5 days after the new hire, yada, yada, yada. And then there's one window now that you can enter the portal.
Here, I'll read this slower.
Here's the basketball version.
Yes, so I'll read this slower because since I'm not up against time here. The NCAA Division I Basketball Oversight Committee proposed that the transfer notification windows open for 15 days after the men's and women's NCAA tournaments, which would be April 7th through the 21st for the men and April 6th through the 20th for the women.
So you got 15 days after the national championship.
Yes.
You get to enter the transfer portal, which to me seems fair.
And this is pending approval in January.
Right.
They also suggested a new transfer window following coaching changes. Players would have a 15-day period to enter the portal starting 5 days after a new coach is announced.
Correct.
Or 31 days after the previous coach's departure if no hire is made.
Which I also find to be fair. So now, I know of a player that is at Cal Poly, and they fired their head coach. He can't be sitting there in limbo all Christmas while they, kick around and not hire anybody. Like Penn State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Penn State has taken forever to hire a coach. The kids can't sit there in limbo and wait for them to hire a new coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, eventually they're going to have to hire somebody. So I think it's fair on both of those accounts. One, it should be after the new coach is hired. What did they say? 5 days after the new coach is hired, you get a 15-day window.
Yes. 5 days after. You have a 15-day window starting 5 days after the new coach is announced or 31 days after the previous coach's departure if no hire was made.
Right, exactly. So you have to wait for the new coach to be hired so they have a chance to potentially keep the athletes. Otherwise, it's not fair to a coach where he's going to inherit a brand new he's going to inherit basically no players. That happened a couple of years ago in college basketball for the last couple of years where by the time the new coach was hired, everybody already entered the portal and he's talking to nobody. He has to start from scratch. That's not fair to the new guy either. So I think that's a fair gift for the players. And it's necessary, right? I mean, because those are players that weren't recruited by the new coach or they're players that were recruited by the old coach. They got fired or left. Like if your coach leaves or gets fired, you should be allowed to leave also, which is what a lot of people complained about when it came to NIL and all that stuff. It's like, well, it's not fair. The professional people are leaving for more money. The players can't do that. Well, now they can. So I think that's fair. I also like the window being starting and finishing after the NCAA tournament's done. Yes. That's also fair. And there should only be one window.
Players at schools with post-January 1st coaching changes would wait until the April window to post.
All right, so if your coach gets fired
after January
in the new
1st,
year,
you have to wait until the April window to go into the portal.
I think that's also fair. I think that's also fair. If your head coach gets fired in professional sports, you can't just like opt out for free agency immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for the end of the year.
This marks the third adjustment to the transfer window since 2022-23, aiming to allow changes only after championships conclude.
Yeah, as it should be. I'm liking all of this so far.
That's what I got.
And that's it for college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing needs to be happening in football. I think they eliminated the second window. You only have one window now. I think everything's pretty much in line with what football did already.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, like the window should be at the end of the national championship. Not only should that be, but like they should, I would like to see them implement the same thing as Major League Baseball at the conclusion of the national championship, at the conclusion of the World Series. You got the 5-day dead period where nothing happens. And then after that is, here's your transfer portal window. Here's when you can start hiring coaches. Here's when you can start doing X, Y, Z. And you get it all done in the springtime. Now, that doesn't coincide with school, obviously. Jake Waters puts in the chat and it makes a lot of sense. Like maybe you have all the FBS schools go to the quarter system so you could do things like this. Because the biggest gripe all the time, we got to get this done for the semester change. We got to get this done for the semester changes. Well, if it's about school and it's about getting kids into school, which it's not, it's never been, then you put everybody on the quarter system. I mean, there's solutions to these problems. But every time it's like, oh, we can't because of this. Oh, we can't because of that. Oh, we got to worry about spring ball. Move the spring ball dates. That should be another part of the calendar. Maybe you're not allowed to do spring ball until May or June.
Spring ball opens up in this window.
Yeah. Here's the month you have to do the 2 weeks of spring ball, whatever it may be. Because some schools do it in like February. Some schools do it in April. Some schools do it in May. I mean, they're all over the place. Have a set time to do spring football. Everybody like this. There's too much of like every school being able to pick and choose what they want, when they want to do things and when they want to have things. It needs to be uniform. You just need a uniform process, uniform timetable for transfer portal, uniform timetable to hire coaches, uniform timetable for recruiting, uniform timetable to get NIL deals signed, uniform timetable for spring practice. I mean, you are now a professional sport. You need to start implementing professional rules. You need to move the season up. Jake Waters likes my Braden bowl plan in August. I think it'd be great if you had all the bowl games in August. But here's the problem, Jake. The bowl games are not designed for college football. They're designed for tourism. That's why they exist. They exist to get people to travel to locations during times those locations don't get a lot of tourism. That's what bowl games are for. Once I was told this, I was like, okay, it makes a lot of sense on why we do these things now. You know, August is not like San Diego still gets a lot of people to show up in August. They're not like scrounging for hotels, but in December they are. But if you wanted to make college football about college football, that's what you would do. You would make the bowl games at the beginning of the year. I still think people would travel during those times. But the problem is they don't need people to travel during that time. The bowl thing is interesting to me. It's just, in this day and age of college football, it just seems to be kind of an outdated situation to try to drive tourism, it seems like sometimes. It's something that a lot of the bowl committees have to adapt with. There might be a lot of times where in like hot cities that they don't get a lot of travel in August. But to me, you would have to look at the hotel data because that's what the business model is. I don't know how much longer that business model can thrive unless you make it a little bit more incentivized. Or maybe you have different places have bowl games now to drive tourism. But the postseason should be about the postseason. Like to me, and we were going to talk about this another day, but I'd have the season start a lot earlier than it does. But what you need to do for college football, you got to take the NFL model and have something happen every single month. I would eliminate the early enrollees. I'd have that part of the deal too. Too many kids are like leaving high school early to enroll in classes early and all this other stuff because they have to and they got to get to spring ball. Like, forget that. That needs to be eliminated. I'm glad they finally did something with the roster limits. Like, what about the walk-on? You know what? It's time. Unfortunately, this is professional sports now. It's time to start breaking some hearts when it comes to like the college football dream. And I'm just talking about college football. All the college sports, I give kids opportunity to go to school, fine. But at the FBS level, this is strictly a business now. Always really has been, but now you have opportunities to get money and everything like that. It needs to be uniform. So we were going to fully plan this out, and maybe I have more time to do this tomorrow. But when I'm talking about it and I'm thinking about it out, I'm just spitballing here, Frank. To me, the new season calendar should start 5 days at the conclusion of the national championship.
I would give it a week. I would say the first Monday after the national championship.
5 days is what baseball does. So you could start implementing stuff.
I like this psychological of starting on Monday.
The game already starts on, so if you have the game on a Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? Okay, fine. Yeah. If you want to do 7 days.
Yeah, go a week. First Monday.
But I agree with Jake. Here's what I would do. The national championship every year would be at the Rose Bowl on January 1st. And then I think you back time that. So if I pulled up a calendar, which I don't have in front of me.
Go ahead.
Let's just do it for. What are
you looking for?
Let's do it for 2026 year, right?
So
January 1st, 2027.
Is a Thursday. Oh,
that's
2027.
A Friday. I would make that the national championship. I would have a 2014 bracket. So then you'd backtrack there, and you would go, and I wouldn't have too many buys in it. Semifinals, I'd skip the Christmas holiday, by the way. So you have 2 weeks to prepare for the national championship. So I'd have the semifinals on the 19th of December, right? If I'm looking at a 2014 bracket. Let me look at the FCS bracket real quick.
Probably going to have to start the season a little bit earlier.
Exactly. I would move it up. If you look at the FCS bracket, right? So I would have this is what I would do. I would have the national championship on January 1st. It'd be at the Rose Bowl every year. If you want to change it, fine. But that's what I would do. So that would be January 1st. The week before that, with the Christmas weekend, you're off. You get 2 weeks to prepare. I'd put the semifinals on the 19th of December. I'd put the quarterfinals on December 12th. I'd put and then you got one more round. That's it. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you got 2 more rounds. On December 5th, and the playoffs start on November 28th. I'd eliminate conference championship games. I think the last week of the regular season should be November 21st. You have, what do they have? 14 weeks to make 14 weeks to play 12 games?
Yes. Well, that depends. Are you going to do what college football does now, which is make Army-Navy week a standalone game? Then you're going to have to bump it up another week.
If you do that, if you go 15 weeks, then you start the season on the weekend of August 14th and 15th. Mm-hmm. I would do that.
So you would.
I'd move the season. That's moving the season up 1 week because right now week 0 is the 22nd of August.
Yeah. So you would keep Army-Navy as a standalone game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd do that I think that's fine. I wouldn't touch the Army-Navy game. So then your season starts on August 15th, which means camp's going to start in July, right? And you start back timing things. And to be honest with you, I'd have National Signing Day in June. I'd have the end of high school. Yeah. Maybe do it in May. Should be in May. Should be May, like the first Tuesday in May every single year should be the National Signing Day. After high school is done. I wouldn't do early enrollees. What? What's the problem? You can't tell me you're locked into that hockey game right now.
No. Having it in June. Yeah, well, I mean, they're gonna be going to. No, that's fine. I was thinking like, well, this recruiting class is not going to be playing football this year, so like that was my thought. You're only giving them a couple weeks, like about a month to get into the school, get settled in, and then go out and start practicing. But is what that's what I was like. But then I thought myself out of it.
Put it in May. I mean, whatever it needs to be. I would just eliminate the early enrollee periods. And there's a lot of early enrollees that enroll in January. I mean, why are we doing this? Let the kids finish high school, and then you do it in May. Like when's the NFL draft? Late April?
Yeah, last
I mean,
week of
it's the same thing. They have meetings and stuff like that. They're going to meet during the summertime. And by the way, every school's out in May anyway for colleges. The high schools are out in May now, but like basically May or June.
Yeah.
Have National Signing Day in May. Work back. April is when you could do spring ball.
But again, you also got to think it is different across the country, because I remember New York, it was like the middle of June was when you're done. Here, it was the end of May.
Yeah, it is what it is with the high school. Well, you're not gonna be on the same path as high school the whole time, but May and June is usually when those are out.
Yeah,
and then I would have January is the transfer portal period. You got 15 days at the conclusion of the national championship, which if it's done on January 1st, a lot of schools don't start till January 20th or after MLK Day. That's when schools should adjust their school schedule, and plus they're not going to miss too much anyway. But that's your period to get to your new school. So the transfer portal's during that period. And the month of January is going to be all the conversations for transfer portal and coaching hires and all that stuff. That all needs to get done, and it'll be a whirlwind, but it'll be fun for January. You start spring ball in March, or you do the signing, you do March or April, you do the signing day in May, and you put everything together.
Adam Paul in the chat saying the biggest problem with your proposal is that you have standardized testing.
For what, the high school kids?
You can't change you can't change the dates of the ACT and SATs without a big deal occurring.
When are ACTs and SATs? Aren't they usually all year long?
I know
they're in the fall.
I never took my SATs because I always assumed there was like a standardized day for it. So
no, I never take it all the time. I took two during the football season. I take them in the fall.
I never took them because I was waiting for, here you go.
Here's SAT day at school.
Yeah. Juniors take SATs on this day. Here's your time block, like that kind of thing. Never got it.
I thought he's like all over the place, the SAT dates. They go August 2025 to June 2026. They got them all year long. They could take it whenever. Again, this is not even about school.
But again, it's also, you're thinking the state of California. There are other states probably do have different ways of doing things for their standardized testing.
But what I'm saying is you would have signing day at the end of the year. So like you should be done with all your high school stuff by the time you get to signing day. It actually gives you more time to do SATs and ACTs. You're done with high school.
Yeah. When
you're signing, it shouldn't affect the high school stuff at all.
Right, because you're saying wait until the seniors graduate before you sign with a college, before you commit to a college.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'd have it all built in with 24-team bracket, four teams per Power 4 conferences make it. I'd split everything up in the divisions. I mean, I can sort that out and present that on a different day. But to me, it's like there's so many simple solutions to these problems, but the problem is greed usually gets in the way. And speaking of greed, what went into Lane Kiffin picking LSU over Florida and Ole Miss and the saga behind the scenes? Some juicy stuff when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This holiday season, too many San Diegans will go hungry. Join 97 to the Fan and support the San Diego Food Bank. Donate food directly online through our Odyssey San Diego Food Fund, where every donation helps feed local families. Go to 97tothefansd.com/food fund and give today. We kind of barely fixed the. I'll have a proposal together. We could talk about it.
We had the basis of Braden fixing
brainstorming
college football.
There's so many things you could fix. So many things you could fix.
Braden's,
it's so easy to fix.
Braden starts to brainstorm fixing college football is going to be the title on the Odyssey app.
Let's get to. We have a little bit of time. We missed it in the first hour because we got into baseball talk. We're going to combine the 10:15 and the 10:30 real quick. Conference championship games are set in college football. Friday is all of the group of 6 minus the MAC are playing on Friday. Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State will play in the Coosa Championship.
How about Kennesaw State, by the way? Can we give the Owls some flowers here?
Sure.
Second year as a Division I program, and they go 9-3 and make the Conference USA Championship game.
Good for them.
That is huge. Good job. Good job, Kennesaw State.
Troy and James Madison will play in the Sun Belt. In the American Conference, will be North Texas and Tulane. And in the Mountain West Conference, it's UNLV and Boise State with the stupid tiebreakers that they have. On Saturday, the morning game is BYU and Texas Tech for the Big 12. Mixed in there, and I don't know why the MAC's not playing on a different day. You know what? The MAC championship should be on a Tuesday because of MACtion. That's what they should have done.
It should be tonight.
Yeah, it should be tonight. Instead, it's on Saturday in the middle of multiple games that nobody's going to pay attention to.
And I think it's the standalone game, too. I don't remember the time, but I think it is. It's a stand. I think it might be no.
No, they compete with the Big 12 and the SEC.
Yeah, the Big 12 and the MAC, I think, are at 10. The SEC is the standalone game. The SEC is at 1, and then the Big 12 and ACC are at 5.
The Big 12 is usually at 9 in the morning. On the West Coast.
They're at night.
Really?
Yeah, they're the way I have them is they are in order.
They're at 9 a.m.
What?
Yeah, come on, dude.
They were.
Do not test me on Big 12 conversations.
They were in order in time when I
the Big
put
12
it on the list.
9 in the morning. The MAC.
The Big 12.
Yes,
I thought you said the Big 10.
No,
My
the Big
bad.
12's at. See, you know what? Corporate Frank constantly thinking about himself.
No, I
make it about me. Big
I
dog.
swear, I thought you said the Big 10.
No, the Big 12's at 9. The MAC is at 9.
Yes.
The SEC is the standalone game at 1, which is Georgia and Alabama.
So then I misspoke.
Indiana and Ohio State's at 5, with Duke and Virginia also at 5.
So then I misspoke when I said, and then the Big 12 and ACC are at 5. I meant to say Big 10. The Big 10 is at 5 with the ACC.
Correct. So that is your conference championships. Miami's upset about the tie-breaking scenarios. Miami is, and they're not even one of the ACC schools that were suing the ACC saying this is a BS league. That'd be Florida State and Clemson. Miami AD Dan Radakovich publicly criticized. Yeah, thank you. The ACC's tiebreaker system after the Hurricanes were left out of the ACC championship game despite being part of a 5-way tie for second place.
Where have we heard this gimmick before?
I don't know. Maybe putting all of the teams in a gigantic conference with no divisions is not a good idea. What did we think was going to happen? Did we think everybody was going to fill in nicely? Did we not think there was going to be multiple ties when you don't even play everybody in the conference? You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And college athletics is playing stupid games, and they're winning stupid prizes. Here's your stupid prize. Instead of, it's the same thing with, TCU and Baylor were at the top of the Big 12. And this was my sophomore year. I remember that year, the Big 12's motto was one true champion, because they were the only ones that played a round-robin schedule because they had 10 teams in the Big 12, which doesn't make sense either. But, welcome to college athletics, where Crumble Cookies is crumbling Penn State's coaching hires. But You had the one true champion. I remember going to events. One true champion, the Big 12, one true champion. We're the only conference that plays round robin. This is great. And then they played round robin. And Baylor and TCU tied for the lead. They didn't have a Big 12 championship game because in that time of college athletics, you must have divisions in order to get a championship game. So the Big 12 didn't have a championship game because you had to have at least 6 teams in both divisions to have divisions. So what they should have done, Baylor beat TCU that year. They should have named that Baylor was the champion, but the Big 12 got greedy. And they're like, we can have 2 teams in the playoff. Let's say they're co-champions.
Oh, for God.
So they said they're co-champions. And TCU at the time was better than what Baylor at the end of the year. And TCU was the 3 seed going into the final weekend of the college football playoff. And their result was TCU beating Iowa State by 50 points, knocked them from 3 to 6. They had Baylor at 5. And instead of having 2 teams in the playoff, they got no teams in the playoff because they got greedy. Well, the same thing happened a couple of years ago with the Big Ten. The Big Ten's like, why are we putting Minnesota in the championship game or Nebraska or Illinois or any of the teams in the West that aren't very good? Wisconsin. We're watching all these blowouts. It'd be nice if we had Ohio State and Michigan play each other in the championship game, but they play each other in the same division. So let's make it so we have the top 2 teams play each other in the championship game. Then they started adding all these schools. So now you have all these schools in a conference. There's like 16, there's 18 schools in the Big Ten. You look at the standings. 18 schools in the Big Ten. That's too many schools. And guess what? Not all of them play each other because you can't play 17 games. You only get 9 for the conference. So you're only going to play half of the teams that are in the conference. And what does that do? That sets up for multiple tiebreakers that have, I don't know, head-to-head, not a part of it because not everybody played everybody. Because the Big Ten wanted their top 2 teams in the championship game. What year was this? This was like, I think it was the last time they had was like 2022, 2023. Yeah, it was Michigan and Purdue were in the Big Ten championship game. And the Big Ten's all upset because, Ohio State's 4 in the country, but they're not playing for a Big Ten championship game. Well, guess what? Ohio State maybe should have beat Michigan, and you wouldn't have to worry about this problem. But no, we must keep rewarding schools for not winning their division. It's not fair. Our division's tougher. Win the damn thing. I don't know what to tell you. You have to beat these teams eventually. So the Big Ten got greedy, and they flipped it. And I think they flipped it in 2023. They did. They flipped it. They flipped it the year after because again, Michigan played Iowa and it wasn't a great game. So they flipped it last year. They're like, we're going to have the top 2 teams in the conference. It's going to work out. And the first year it did work out. Oregon and Indiana. It's great. And then everybody else started doing the same thing. And they're like, oh, this is great. These are our best 2 teams. But guess what? People that make decisions at these conferences, you're going to roll into a situation where you have all these teams tied for first and second place that didn't even play each other, and you got to try to figure out who gets to go to the playoff or who gets to go to the championship game. Insert the ACC. Virginia at 7-1, SMU is 6-2, Miami's at 6-2, Pitt's at 6-2, Georgia Tech's at 6-2, and Duke's at 6-2. SMU ranked, Miami ranked, Pitt ranked, Georgia Tech ranked. None of them are in the championship game. Duke is. Because of your tie-breaking scenario. This is why Miami's upset. They criticized the ACC's tiebreaker system after the Hurricanes were left out of the ACC championship game despite being part of a 5-way tie for second place. Duke, who's 7-5 on the year and 6-2 in conference, advanced instead via the 5th ACC tiebreaker, conference opponent win percentage. Both the AD at Miami and head coach Mario Cristobal insist that the ACC must change the system to ensure the league showcases its best foot forward in selecting championship participants. Here's the tiebreaker controversy. Miami finished tied at 6-2 with 4 of their ACC teams. Duke advanced to the ACC title game due to the 5th level tiebreaker of the conference opponent win percentage. Radakovich, the AD for Miami, says the system is too complicated. It wasn't designed for 4 or 5 team ties. The ACC must streamline the process. The league should ensure its best teams play for the title. Comparison to other leagues. the American Conference that uses the college football playoff rankings. Mountain West used the advanced metrics of the computer rankings, which we all know that worked out really well. And the ACC originally built its system off old division formats. Here's the thing. It comes to my attention that everybody's just going to bitch, moan, and complain unless it's the two brand schools that are playing in the championship games.
And isn't Miami like starting to really recover from like a decade of just being hot garbage?
They've been
in
terrible.
The ACC.
I mean, Miami's case is like we're 10-2. We went 6-2 in conference.
We beat
like
Notre Dame.
We're the highest ranked team in the ACC, and we're not in our own championship game. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, don't lose. Like at the end of the day, you can't lose. They lost to SMU on the road, and they lost to Louisville. I'm sorry. You could have been like Virginia, but you can't say that because Virginia's playing an easier ACC schedule.
Just win the game, forehead. Like,
hey, you don't like it? Play better. These are the stupid rules you guys signed up for, and you wanted to take a big check by adding all these teams to your conference and then getting greedy by not having divisions. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And the ACC has won a stupid prize. And there's other conferences that have won stupid prizes. It worked out for the Big Ten again this year. Could you imagine if Indiana lost to somebody else, or maybe there's a four-way tie between Oregon, SC, Michigan, and Indiana, or Ohio State, God forbid, and all of a sudden Iowa sneaks up there because they played a terrible schedule? It's worked out for the Big Ten in the last 2 years, but eventually it's not going to work out for the Big Ten. And then all of a sudden we got to change all the rules again because we don't have Ohio State and Michigan in the championship game. Why? Why is that important? Because it's all about TV revenue.
Speaking of television revenue.
Yeah, we got to take a break.
You have the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country playing each other for the conference championship.
Correct.
You have both of those 2 teams are undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the Big 12 or the Big 10 has a contract with Fox. College Game Day is going to Georgia, Alabama for like the 5th year in a row. You've had Big 12, you've had Big 10 games on College Game Day before. 1 and 2, undefeated.
Why would I do that if I'm ESPN?
Why wouldn't you? It's the biggest game.
Why would I promote a game that I don't have the contract for?
They go to they were just in Oregon. They've been to Oregon twice.
But this is the biggest product ESPN has and their biggest game. Of their biggest product that they own.
The same
from a business standpoint, that makes no sense.
It's been the biggest game for the last 5 years.
If I'm hashing out all of this money for the SEC and I'm airing the SEC championship game, why in the world would I promote Fox's game? That makes no sense.
Go to the biggest game.
No.
Go to the biggest game of the week.
There's no business sense in that.
Go to the biggest game of the week. College football.
You would rather lose money and go to the biggest game than promote your own product. That is asinine.
It's been the same game for the last 5 years.
Who cares? It's your product.
Come on. Promote the biggest game.
Are you out of your mind?
Yes.
That's like us not broadcasting at a Padres World Series game because the Aztecs are in a championship game, and that seems to be a better game.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's the same.
No, it's not the same.
It's their product. It's their partnership. They have a partnership with the SEC.
Why
would they promote their competition, Fox, and their game?
They've promoted them six times already this year in the regular season.
It doesn't matter in the regular season. It's their championship game. Why would they do that? You spend all the money for this conference, for this game. Why would you promote your competition's game? Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Promote the biggest game.
No, not if I don't own the rights to it. No business sense. No business sense. I'm dumbfounded at that. Unless you're doing it for a bit, and then it's funny. But There's no reason why ESPN should be promoting the Big Ten championship game at all.
Big Ten Frank has to do his job.
Get out of here.
Promote the biggest game.
Stop it.
Corporate Frank has to do his job.
They should, you know what? SNY should promote the Yankees. They should promote every time the Yankees are in the playoffs when the Mets aren't. You know what? It's the best game. Biggest show in town. Doesn't like that, does he? No. Frank doesn't like that.
Hey, SNY has Yankee stuff on there all the time.
We need to go to break.
It's called Sports Night.
We need to go to break before I pull my hair out with the lack of business knowledge from Corporate Frank over here. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Take me down sports trivia. You can win a prize. Qualify for a prize. Give us a call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Braden Surprenant Show, Standings Number Sports Station 97 through the Fan. So they've been the play stupid games, win stupid prizes day. I think so, especially college football,
As we get ready to play our midday sports standoff,
which is not a stupid game and it's not a stupid prize, which is what I was going to set up for. This hour 97 to the fans brought to you by Mission Fed. From first accounts to big life moments, Mission Fed can help. Saving shouldn't be stressful. Mission Fed makes it easier with great rates on savings certificates and ultra money market accounts. Grow your money the smart way. Check the latest rates and open an account at missionfed.com. Membership and account criteria apply. We are going to play our fun game that's not stupid to win a fun prize that's also not stupid. If you could take me down in sports trivia, you'd be qualified for a shot at our grand prize. 2 tickets to New Kids on the Block in Las Vegas on June 26th. A 2-night stay at Park MGM and a $100 gas card. Calling all blockheads. New Kids on the Block just announced 2026 dates for their, quote, Write the Right Stuff Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM. Don't miss all your favorite hits live in Las Vegas with Kids on the Block, February to October 2026. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Let's get to today's Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
we have Dexter in Spring Valley who is playing today. Dexter, how are you, bud?
Oh, I'm hoping I'll be able to hang tough. Yes, that was a new kid's reference.
Well, you're ready to go already for the trip. Now you just got to do your part in it. So today's topic, there are 9 possible answers here. There are 9 starting quarterbacks officially labeled number 1 starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
When were they starting quarterbacks in the NFL? Week 1?
No, it's...
What week are we talking starting quarterbacks with injuries and everything like that?
Who is the current... We're forgetting about injuries. If Justin Herbert was injured right now, and if he had not played a game as a starting quarterback in the postseason, Justin Herbert would be an answer here. Got it?
Okay.
Because he is the number 1 quarterback for the Chargers.
Kirk Cousins, not that guy, right?
No.
Okay. Sounds good.
I think.
Not that guy.
9 starting quarterbacks in the NFL that have not played in a playoff game. Dexter.
Oh, not in the playoff game. Okay.
That have not started a playoff game. Dexter.
Okay.
Your first guess.
All right, let's go with that would be this season, or no, ever.
Ever.
Okay. Is Taylor still starting?
Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
He's not the starter.
He's not the starter.
Okay.
No.
I'm gonna go with Cam Ward of the Titans.
Cam Ward, correct. So we're thinking young here.
Yeah, really young. Oh, Sanders.
He's not the starter. Well,
he is the starter now.
So
yeah.
So he's the current. Okay, we're talking.
He is the official starter for the team. Yes.
I guess Dylan Gabriel wouldn't have counted. Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams. Yes.
Man, I can't remember
Dexter.
the name of the dude in Minnesota. The guy in Minnesota. So I have to go for. Let's. Okay, shot in the dark. Geno Smith.
Geno Smith has started a playoff game.
Okay.
Spencer Rattler.
Rattler. Yeah.
The guy in New Orleans.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler.
I should have known that.
Dexter,
one.
you
Okay,
need to get this one here.
I know this one might kill me. Shoot, what's the name of the guy in New England? Or we can go with not doing yet. God, I can't remember the dude's name now. It slipped
Played
my
last
mind.
night.
Yeah, I know. That's like right there.
Leads the NFL in passing right now, too.
What about Dart?
Mhm.
Jackson Dart.
Good answer.
Okay.
Braden?
Uh,
All right, I think I have all the 9 here. Drake May is who he was looking for.
May. Yeah.
Drake May, yes.
Okay, yeah. Because I was thinking of the name that kept popping in my head is the backup now at San Francisco.
That's
So we have Ward, Rattler, Sanders, May, and Dart.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say Tua.
He's played in the
No,
playoffs.
that is strike 3, Dexter, unfortunately. Go ahead, Braden.
Caleb Williams.
Said Caleb Williams.
Oh, we
already.
said him already. Michael Penix Jr.
Yep, that would have been 5, so you would have won it right there.
And then we're missing 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I got J.J. McCarthy,
Yes,
Justin Fields.
correct. Yes.
That's the 9. So Ward, Williams, Rattler, Sanders, Penix Jr., McCarthy, Fields, May, Dart.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
There's the 9. I think Bo Nix has started a playoff game.
We're gonna be sticking a lot of football topics here because a lot of like the trivia going around now is the NFL. So there you go. If you want a hint for upcoming, know your NFL stuff because that's where a lot of like trivia is right now.
Nate, don't give Dexter a knife with all that stabbing in the dark. Yikes.
Bro.
And his name is Dexter. That makes it better.
Oh my!
That makes it better. Love the bit. It's great. Good stuff. All right. I put off the Lane Kiffin stuff long enough. We're gonna get to that in the next segment. And it's kind of play into the college coaching carousels. Crazy.
Yes, that has been just insane.
It's crazy. We got any updates? Any other cookie companies preventing Penn State from hiring a head coach?
Yeah, I think Keebler has put in for for Notre Dame, I
The
believe.
Keebler elves are like, nah, man,
Yeah, Freeman stays at Notre Dame.
can't have this. Can't have this.
Figure elves and leprechauns are close enough now.
Is our music supposed to play?
Yeah, I know.
Hey, man, I don't want to get gypped here on time for work. Gotta use the punch card in between. Can't pay for overtime, dude. Can't pay for overtime. All right, when we come back, we're going to get to the inside look at the Lane Kiffin saga. Sometimes you'll believe in Lane. Sometimes you won't, or at least give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll talk about it next. Well, it's 1 o'clock, which means only one thing. And we got multiple tickets to give away in this hour. We're giving away things all hour.
Already?
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. Dog.
My goodness.
1 o'clock. You know what that means.
Ticket giveaways. We're early Christmas presents this year, man.
Joey McGuire not leaving Texas Tech. I didn't think he was going to leave there either. He's got so much money there. Why would he ever leave? All right, 1 o'clock. It's time for today's biggest fan. Congratulations to today's biggest fan, Tessa Munt in Alpine. Tessa Munt, M-U-N-D-T in Alpine. Give us a call in the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all of the fan staff later this season, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 972thefantasy.com/biggest fan. Tessa Munt in Alpine, M-U-N-D-T. Tessa. Give us a call at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. She is today's biggest fan. I think it is in the chat.
Yeah, I was going to say chat fam is...
Chat fam, let's get on it. Let's get Tessa to call in. Brandon didn't want to talk?
No.
No
Question. Different Brandon.
All right, Tessa's got 10 minutes.
Not our Brandon.
Let's talk about, and when we go to break, we're going to give away tickets to Zach Bryan. And the next break, we're going to give away tickets to San Diego State basketball. There's Tessa.
Oh.
Frank will handle that. Tessa breaks the streak, by the way, which is fantastic. All right, let's talk about the Lane Kiffin thing a little bit longer. A little bit more. Lane Kiffin, and this is an interesting question. And I'm going to ask the question when Frank gets off the phone with Tessa. But the chaos in Oxford. Lane Kiffin officially left Ole Miss for LSU, triggering an unprecedented hostile farewell at the Oxford airport.
To say the least.
Fans, hundreds of them, show up to boo, flip the bird, scream obscenities as Kiffin and anyone associated with him boards a plane. Multiple planes. Apparently there's 2 planes to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The crowd includes college students, adults, even children, symbolizing a fan base feeling deeply betrayed. This is the first time in college football history a coach has left the team sitting on the doorstep of a college football playoff. How did his exit unfold? Well, early warning signs. On November 17th, a Kiffin family plane, these guys make way too much money, was spotted in Baton Rouge. Ole Miss administration immediately becomes uncomfortable and suspicious.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? You're telling me that's not a red flag?
Yeah, wait, that's not normal? Hold on.
First of all, red flag is the fact that your college football coach has a airplane.
Yeah, that's...
especially a guy that got fired on a tarmac. Anybody find the irony in this?
Well, it's kind of hard to get fired on the tarmac when it's your plane that you're getting on.
That's right. Jake Waters in the chat. Kiffin, tarmac events, handshake.
He learned from that. He learned from that moment. He said, you know what?
I'm going to spin the tarmac news into something good.
No, you know what? I can't get left at an airport if I'm getting on my plane.
That's true.
Forget the team plane. I'm taking my plane.
So anyway,
life lessons.
A Kiffin family plane spotted in Baton Rouge makes Ole Miss admin immediately uncomfortable and suspicious. Really? You don't say. This is like a cheating scandal. It's like, why is my girlfriend at my buddy's house? Interesting. Kiffin and his agent had quietly been entertaining Florida and LSU for weeks by this time. The job market by mid-November gave Kiffin an opportunity where he knew he could stay at Ole Miss, he could go to Florida, or he can go to LSU. Both Florida and LSU were prepared to offer massive contracts, making him one of the highest paid coaches in the country. Why did Kiffin choose LSU over Florida? Well, here's what happened with some of the sales pitches. Florida pitch to get Lane Kiffin to Florida went sideways. Florida athletic director Scott Strickland insisted on hiring an NFL-style general manager who wouldn't report to the head coach. Lane doesn't like it. He sees this as meddling and a deal breaker. Kiffin gets a, quote, weird vibe from Strickland and questions whether the AD actually wants him to be the head coach at Florida. Then goes the LSU pitch to get Lane Kiffin to be their head coach. LSU's message, quote, we love you, we'll fund you, come win here. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry personally recruits Kiffin and backs a 7-year deal. All great stuff. Kiffin believes LSU has a stronger recruiting base, a bigger ceiling, and a more blue blood potential. Kiffin never thought he would ever get a chance at a premier job after the USC incident ended badly. This is all laid out in the article on CBSSports.com by John Talty, who did a great job getting the inside scoop on this. Why he turned on Ole Miss. So, based on what I've told you so far, Frank, LSU goes, we love you, we'll fund everything you want here, come win here. Florida's like, well, we want you to be here, but we also want to hire a general manager. I can see why you picked LSU over Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Same?
Yeah.
Right. LSU is a bigger brand. It's a blue blood, bigger ceiling, a lot of things like that. Now comes the decision of why he didn't stay at Ole Miss. Despite Ole Miss matching salary and giving him full autonomy, Lane Kiffin said he was worried he'd eventually be fired after a mediocre year. He even specifically cites Mark Stoops at Kentucky. I feel like Lane Kiffin and Mark Stoops are a little bit different. Like, Mark Stoops at a place where Kentucky is a basketball school. They're just hoping he does better than 6 wins. Right?
Mm-hmm.
At that point. He felt, Lane Kiffin did, he had already conquered Ole Miss and needed a new chase, and he privately complained about Ole Miss fan support and sustainability of success. He feared that if he passed on LSU, it would mean he would never get a job of that caliber again. There's a couple things to unpack here. Now, if you are Lane Kiffin, let me ask you this question. Is Ole Miss a premier job, or is there a tier above the Ole Miss
No, there's
jobs?
a tier above it.
I agree. I don't think Ole Miss is a premier job. I don't think Ole Miss is a blue blood job. I think Ole Miss is a good job. I think it's good. And I think it's a way to get your foot in the door in the SEC. But I don't think Ole Miss is at the same level of Georgia and Alabama and obviously LSU. And to be honest with you, I really don't even consider them at the same level as Florida. Ole Miss is a good job. It's not a great job. I mean, you got to live in Mississippi. Oxford, Mississippi. Wow, that's, you know what? That's a place, man. I just don't think they have the same resources as some of the schools as I mentioned, Frank.
I agree.
So I think those are all valid cases for Lane Kiffin to leave Ole Miss. Ole Miss is not a destination place. It might be for some people, but I don't consider it to be at the premier level of program. The breaking point for Lane Kiffin, though, as laid out by this article, was the fact that, and this is where everything went south, Lane Kiffin wanted to coach Ole Miss in the playoffs. He attempted to, quote, thread the needle, accept the LSU job, but still coach Ole Miss through the postseason. Ole Miss said no, citing signing day timing and competitive damage. Kiffin became combative. He threatened to take offensive staff immediately if Ole Miss didn't allow him to coach the playoff. Multiple players confronted Lane Kiffin about telling staff they'd lose LSU jobs if they didn't board the plane. Ole Miss decides to move on. They didn't balk at what was Lane Kiffin's threat, which he thought was going to be something that would get him an opportunity to continue to coach at Ole Miss throughout the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. So AD Keith Carter and Chancellor Glenn Boyce officially cut the ties. Pete Golding has been named the new head coach at Ole Miss. Players reportedly told administration they cared more about the assistants than they did at Lane Kiffin at this point. The aftermath, Lane Kiffin exits, packs his office, skips the final team meeting. He boards a private plane with his brother Chris Kiffin, Charlie Weiss Jr., Joe Cox, George McDonald, Billy Glasscock, and player personnel director Mike Williams. Billy Glasscock is the general manager of Ole Miss that is now the general manager of LSU. Mm-hmm. LSU welcomes him as a hero. Police escort, fans celebrate. Still, one LSU source expresses concern, as he should. Quote, I don't know that his drama is going to go well here. They want it now, but I don't think they'll like the drama. You don't say.
No kidding, huh?
Has any Lane Kiffin destination not ended in drama?
No.
He had drama with Alabama when he was the offensive coordinator. He had the drama with Nick Saban. He had the drama at USC where he got fired on the tarmac. He had the drama at Tennessee. He had the drama when he was a college player at Fresno State. This man is filled with drama. The Fresno State conversation's hilarious. But this man is filled with drama. I said it before. I mean, if he thinks that LSU is, in fact, that job of that final destination job, then LSU should have nothing to worry about. But Lane Kiffin doesn't last at places for a long time. He jumps ship. He bails all the time. And they're making a deal with the devil, if you want, with this entire story. Ole Miss fans rage. They transform overnight from worshiping Lane Kiffin to demanding it, or trying to convince him to stay, to despising him. Airport scene becomes a defining moment in Ole Miss program history.
Again, how many times do you have to touch the burning the stove before you realize it's going to burn you? How many times, what was it, in the Green Mile? How many times did you pee on the toilet seat before someone told you to put it up? Like, how many more times are we going to go through this with the same guy? It's rinse and repeat everywhere he goes.
What makes it this interesting to me is, and it kind of leads to a question. It leads to a couple of questions that we're going to answer in the next deal. But to me, it shows you how desperate. This is how crazy this business is. The business of college football, of what? What? Are you okay?
Juan Ruiz said he made a tweet. He made a meme about the show, pertaining to the show today.
and he tagged us in it, and I just saw it. We can't put it up here.
No.
Because it's...
That's hilarious.
Yeah, there it is.
The Lane Kiffin stuff is great. It's going to even be funnier with the Penn State news whenever they hire a new head coach. But here's the deal about college football. These schools, like, it's so lucrative. These schools are so desperate to win, to get the bag of the big money of winning in college football, and the demand from fans and boosters and everything like that, that they're willing to pay this kind of money to get a coach that they think is going to get them there. I mean, that's literally what this is all about. LSU is willing to do that. BYU is willing to do that to keep a coach that they think can get them to that level. All of these new hires, again, like with these coaches jumping ship, they are getting all this money because that is what these schools view in terms of worth for these coaches. Now, the other question, there's a couple questions that need to be answered about this. And I'm going to ask you this one before we go. Is Lane Kiffin the biggest villain in college football right now?
Yes.
I'd say so. I don't know how many times he has alienated himself from schools.
And it's not just this isolated incident. It's been his entire coaching career.
His Twitter account is nonstop entertainment. As long as you are not the school that he is at, and you're not a fan of the school that he is at, or the school that he is making fun of, and you watch from a distance, the Lane train is hilarious.
If he were to become the TCU head coach,
he would never, but okay.
No, I'm just saying, if he were, I know he wouldn't. How excited would you get?
I wouldn't get that excited.
I wouldn't get excited at all.
I'm not like
if
super
he went
excited about like Lane Kiffin.
If he went to Penn State, I wouldn't get excited at all because I'd know it's like, okay, he's gonna make me want to bang my head against the wall in 3 years. He's gonna make me hate everything in 3 years.
You just know it's going to end badly. I mean, Lane Kiffin has burned like almost every bridge he has been a part of. The Tennessee one. Like when Tennessee always needs a head coach, they paint on that rock over there and like bring Lane home.
He is still persona non grata in Knoxville.
Oh yeah,
still.
Does LSU got to play at Knoxville and in Oxford? Because that'd be kind of awesome.
That would be
unbelievable. But I know they're playing Ole Miss next year.
Please.
Did we not see the scenes?
Make the joke. Please do it.
Did we not see the scenes of when Ole Miss went to Tennessee and they played that game? And I think it was the first time. Wasn't that the first time he was really back there as a head coach? There were golf balls and mustard bottles being thrown on the field. I know they play.
Oh my God!
Did they play both?
Oh my God! They're at home. They're on the road.
Ole Miss.
They're on the road at both.
LSU next year in 2026.
It's gonna be must-watch television.
I gotta tell my brother to go to that game.
They are
at Ole Miss and at Tennessee in the same year.
They don't have like the schedule. They don't have the dates, so I don't know when it's coming. But they're going to be at Auburn, at Kentucky, at Arkansas, at Ole Miss, at Tennessee. Oh, it's going to be such a good year for LSU.
Oh my God. They're playing at. I was being facetious.
No, I didn't. They literally are.
They are playing. I'm looking at the schedule. They play at Ole Miss and at Tennessee. College football is the gift that keeps on giving.
I love this sport.
Like I said, is Lane Kiffin the biggest villain in college football right now? I think the answer is yes.
Move over, Real Housewives of Atlanta.
The drama is at a peak. Oh my God!
Oh, it's so good.
And and Go Aztecs is right. Who's got the SEC contract right now? ESPN, right?
Yes, ESPN has the SEC contract.
They're gonna get that game against Ole Miss early in the season, and they're gonna get the Tennessee game later in the season, or maybe they're gonna go a little bit of an appetizer with LSU at Tennessee, and then LSU at Ole Miss.
I would do Tennessee first because the hate will be there, but it won't be a fresh scab.
How about, they open up the season with Dabo. They got Dabo on the schedule at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Nonstop entertainment. So I think he is the number one villain in college football right now. The other question is, and this is, going to play into our next topic, but should coaches be allowed to coach their old teams in the playoff after taking a new job? We're going to discuss that when we come back. But before we do that, we got to
take your pick, whichever one. We got to do both. So
we're going to give away tickets to Zach Bryan at Snapdragon Stadium.
Okay.
So during break, the fifth caller who calls in to the show, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Fifth caller, you will win a pair of tickets to Zach Bryan at Snapdragon Stadium on July 31st. Tickets are at Ticketmaster.com. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Fifth caller, you will win tickets to Zach Bryan as we go to break on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing as number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. I love the meme that that Juan made. That's been our show the last 2 days.
Yes, it has been.
It's been great. The drama's great. I love the tea.
If you want to see, you have to go to
Hey man, that's flour.
Juan's chat. No, it is, but it is flour. Correct. Not denying that. The action is suggestive that it is something else. I like this job. I would like to keep it.
That's so funny. It's great. So it asked we asked the question going to break. And who won the tickets?
That would have been someone who has never been in my kitchen.
Elmo's been in the kitchen.
Eric in Lakeside, winner of the tickets.
How about Penn State? Penn State.
No, we're doing so good at making fun of Lane Kiffin. Let's keep doing that.
Tomorrow is signing day. Penn State still doesn't have a head coach. They have 5 recruits currently scheduled to sign tomorrow. No coach and the 129th best recruiting class in the country. Because all of their players are currently flipping to Virginia Tech.
That just means someone like me, who is an excellent recruiter in NCAA 26, our services have been requested.
Do you want to know? I got a question for you. Do you want to know what UC Davis, Cal Poly, Harvard, Northern Arizona, and Idaho all have in common?
They all have higher recruiting classes than Penn State.
They all have higher recruiting classes than Penn State. Yeah. There's only 130-something schools. Penn State's at 129.
136.
136 officially. Do you want to know the schools that they have a better recruiting class than? I'm going to pull it up right now because I see a couple on the list.
I want to guess.
All right, let's see if we can guess this. Here are the teams that. Hang on a second while I pull this up. Where's the football recruiting team rankings? Here are the schools that have worst recruiting classes.
Let me guess.
Than Penn State. All right, let me pull it up real quick. Oh, come on, load more. We got to get to the 136. Give it some time. I got to go down far on the list here to get the.
Well, no,
the
it's
Penn
fine.
State Lions.
For God's sake, there's no revert bottom, see bottom on top sorting.
Oh wow, Penn State's actually 130. My mistake.
For God's sake.
And there are 150. Oh, they got FCS schools on here.
Yeah, they have FCS schools on there. Okay.
Oh man, there's FCS schools. That's right. So here are the here are the schools that
I'm assuming schools like Missouri State and Delaware are lower because they're just newly
Missouri State's on there at 139. Can I rank this just based on FBS schools?
Well, I only know I'm not going to say like North Dakota State, so I'm only going to give you FBS schools.
I just don't know how many are below them right now. All right, so yeah, you have Missouri State.
Missouri State. Would Nevada be lower? Nevada's got a bad program. Have for years.
Is New Mexico State a FBS school still?
New Mexico State is an FBS school.
I think they're the lowest because I'm trying to go through and it's just like it's filled with FCS schools too. Okay. So we're New Mexico State is the lowest. So they're at 149.
Is Nevada below Penn State?
No.
Great. That's fun.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 schools.
Would Louisiana Tech be lower than them?
No.
Florida Worldwide?
No.
God. I'm trying to think of like the absolute pits. I know Purdue is worse, but they're going to be higher.
Oh, Purdue's way higher.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I'm trying to think of like completely.
I would think of military academies.
Okay, so that would be
All three of them.
Yeah, all three of them.
Air Force has a worse recruiting class, Navy and Army.
What about UTEP? UTEP is more or less completely irrelevant.
UTEP's got a better recruiting class
Gosh. Oh, God.
than Penn State. Yeah, they're 81st.
Oh, dear Lord.
UTSA.
UTSA.
No.
UTSA
No,
is good, though. Yeah.
UTSA is not bad. The next school on the list is a Pac-12 school.
Oregon State.
Oregon State.
Oklahoma State.
Yep, they're on there
Okay.
because Gundy's gone. They're 143.
You
got a MAC school and a CUSA school. The Conference USA school is relatively new, and they beat Oregon State this year, and it was like their only win. They're orange. They spelled Bearcats wrong.
Sam Houston. And I'm
MAC
assuming
school.
the MAC school would be like Buffalo or
It's
Western.
Akron.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense too.
And there's one more on the list. It's UAB.
UAB has a little bit more than just recruiting issues right now.
Yeah. Harvard, Cal Poly, Louisiana Monroe, UC Davis, Florida Atlantic, NAU, Southern Miss.
ULM is UL Monroe's an FBS school.
Yes, they're all better than Penn State. Coastal Carolina. Kennesaw State,
Lord.
better than Penn State. Delaware, better than Penn State. Nevada, way better than Penn State at 111. Georgia State, better than Penn State. Old Dominion, better than Penn State.
Can we go back to making fun of Lane Kiffin?
Jacksonville State, better than Penn State.
That was more, making fun of Lane Kiffin was more fun.
UTEP, way better than Penn State. James Madison, better than Penn State.
And James Madison hasn't been a D1 program for more than 10 years.
Yep. Well, there you go. Awful. Okay, I was distracted by that news because it's kind of funny. Props to Harvard. I bet you there's a degenerate gambler that had money on the odds of Harvard having a better recruiting class than Penn State in 2026. It finally hit.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7.
Yes. Should coaches be allowed to coach their old team in a playoff after taking a new job? Yes or no?
I would say it depends on the terms.
I would agree with that.
It depends on where they're going. If it's a coordinator, sure, why not? Let the guy coach. If it's Lane Kiffin, no, get the hell out of here. And that's not because we don't want you to coach. It's because we think you may not make it to your next coaching job.
Here's my like how could you roll them out there for Ole Miss fans, right? So my conversation, and we talked about this before the show started. Here's my conversation. If I'm in charge of whatever, Ole Miss, athletic director or the chancellor, president, whatever it may be. The question becomes like, you're thinking about it from a rest of this season standpoint. Like you're going to have to go hire a new coach eventually. And he's going to bring in his whole new staff. Like, you're not going to keep a lot of these guys that are on your staff. And if you decide to keep some of these guys on your staff and not get a full search for a college coach, it's going to burn you in the long run. So you're thinking about just right now. And right now, you got to think of whether or not you think Ole Miss has the ability to win a national championship. And if you believe that Ole Miss, if you're at Ole Miss, you believe that your current team, as constructed, can win a national championship, then the next thing is, who puts us in a better chance to win a national championship? Lane Kiffin or whoever interim we have minus all the coaching staff? And most people would be like, well, it would be Lane Kiffin, of course. Now, that's in a vacuum. But is Lane Kiffin and all the distractions of LSU and all the distractions of like trying to convince players to go with him to LSU and all the distractions of him having to recruit for another school and you having to have personnel meetings. I mean, this is a direct competitor with you. Do you think with all of the baggage, he still has a better chance at helping you win a national championship? And if the answer is no, you don't let him coach. And if the answer is yes, then you got to consider it. But I don't think he does give you a better chance at winning. You got to cut bait and let him walk. But the difference, the situation is different at Tulane, right? Summerall, the new head coach at Florida, was the old Tulane head coach. It was the offensive coordinator here at the University of San Diego not too long ago. A lot of the kids in the Tulane program will understand like that is an upgrade of a job. And all of the kids on the team are also doing the same thing. Like if they had a chance to go play at Florida while they're at, when they're at Tulane, like they're going to jump at it. There's not going to be a lot of this, we hate the coach for bailing on us kind of attitude. They'd understand the circumstances. So it's a different conversation there. But if you're jumping from one school in the conference to another school in the conference, probably not letting the guy coach. I guess it depends on the situation. Like Tulane's going to get smoked in whatever game that they play in. Maybe. Maybe they'll play their ass off. Who knows? Give a team a run for their money. But I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah,
the fact that we're even in this conversation is a big reason why you got to change the timeline of college football. This is bad for your sport, having coaches leave before being on a playoff. Like Lane Kiffin decided that going to LSU was more important than playing in a playoff game. And if coaches are leaving before playoff games, like bowl games are one thing, but they're leaving before playoff games, you got to fix your sport. And it needs to be fixed sooner rather than later. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're going to kill the sport, and then nobody's going to make money. All these entities right now are getting like corporate America on us, and it's not making the product better. It's making it worse. We might have to talk about how we fix college football tomorrow. Might have to put it.
You gotta. We'll set the 12 o'clock hour again for Braden fixes college football.
They're easy solutions, as long as you factor out greed, which is not really easy to do for a lot of these places. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. College basketball tomorrow. Aztecs are taking on Utah Valley tomorrow night. And if you call in right now, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you call in right now, I was going to give a trivia question. I can't think of one off the top of my head. If you call in right now and you are the 6th caller, you will win tickets.
Thank you for not doing the joke.
If you're the 150th caller, we'd be here all day. If you are the 6th caller, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, 6th caller, you will win tickets to tomorrow's Aztecs game against Utah Valley. As we go to break. When we come back, overreacting to the latest week in the NFL to finish up the show on a Tuesday. San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan.
Win it.
August 97th to the Fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Where did the time go?
Yeah, no kidding.
Where did the time go?
Today was a quick old show.
Yeah. Quick old show. All right. I was going to get to some NFL overreactions, but here's the other thing, too. This just came down. So we talked about San Diego State's raising fees, right? For their students.
Yes, talked about that last week.
Because they need to balance the budget for the athletic department. That's a group of 5 school trying to compete without big TV contracts. Now, in the Big 12, I mean, they're getting almost like $50 million per school with everything, including when they share college football playoff stipends, when they get, NCAA tournament money and all that fun stuff. The University of Colorado, this came down today. So we're talking about a Power 4 program. It's got a lot of hype around it, right? Didn't have a good year this year. Again, they're in the Big 12 conference. Okay, they're at Power 4 school. Their athletic department is projecting that it will run a $27 million deficit during the current fiscal year ending in June of 2026.
Night, Irene.
$27 million deficit. I mean, we're talking about, and start throwing out the schools. Arizona's in a deficit. UCLA's in a deficit. I mean, you start going all these Power 4 schools, massive deficits. In addition to needing $11.9 million in institutional support from the university and $2.2 million from student fees, according to Brent Schrottenborg of USA Today. Colorado, quote, is hoping to bring that deficit down by the end of June with revenue from donations, sponsorships, and concerts at Folsom Field. The department has never reported a deficit that big before, and the 2 biggest reasons for that is the $20.5 million being paid to players and $10 million per year for football coach Deion Sanders.
So it's almost like they didn't budget for having to
spend $30 million on players and staff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Correct. Or the fact that maybe they don't make that much money. So they're spending $20.5 million on their roster and $10 million for the football coach at Colorado. To go what exactly? What was the record this year?
I think they missed the bowl, didn't they? I think they were 4-8.
They were terrible. I watched them play TCU this year. They were terrible. That team is getting paid $20.5 million. And Deion Sanders getting paid $10 million to go 1-8 in the Big 12 and 3-9 on the season.
Close.
That's an expensive bill to beat Delaware, Iowa State, and Wyoming. Colorado. That didn't seem like a really good use of funds to me. I don't know what to say about you. Colorado said that it will not cut sports nor cut any resources for student athletes, but will look to cut expenses, which means they're just going to cut people that work there. Colorado spokesperson Steve Holbert also stressed that, quote, tuition money and state funds will not be used to address the deficit. Schrottenborg notes the projected revenue for the fiscal year of 2026 is $136 million, with $163.7 million in expenses.
Always the teachers that everyone likes, too, are the ones that are usually the first to go.
The biggest expense, well, that's the athletic department isn't going to fire. They don't have teachers to fire. They're going to fire like.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's
Visual
usually the
stuff.
teachers or coaches that everyone likes are usually going first.
The biggest expense is football at $60.4 million. The department is still finalizing its numbers for the fiscal year of 2025, which ended in June of 2025, but said it expects a balanced budget of $141 million in revenue and expenses for that year. So you look at Colorado, and Colorado's not the only school. But this is what I'm talking about when people start popping off about like the schools are making all this money. Colorado last year had $141 million in expenses for the athletic department. They brought in $141 million. They broke even. Colorado's one of the lucky schools. Not a lot of schools are breaking even. Like, they're going to try to get fundraising, and they're going to try to get sponsorships, and they're going to add concerts to Folsom Field. They're trying to do all this stuff before June of 2026 to try to break even. They're projecting $136 million in revenue. In order to break even with the $167 million in expenses, $163 million in expenses, they need an additional $22 million in revenue this year than they made last year. They're not making profit. I mean, aside from the University of Texas, there's not a lot of schools that make profit on their athletic programs. It costs a lot of money for Colorado to compete in a lot of different sports. They're probably making the most revenue with football. But the reality of the situation is this whole paying players thing is that it's not going to work for everybody. That's why the schools that were demanding it, wanted it to happen, were the schools that knew that they can afford it and they were going to just dominate college athletics and reap the benefits of making all the money. I mean, Colorado makes more money in television contracts than San Diego State. It's by far. And they have the resources to do a lot more. They're barely breaking even last year. And they gotta find $27 million before June to break even in this previous fiscal year. Football brings in a ton of revenue, but right now, I mean, it's just the players that are getting paid what they're getting paid are not worth what they're getting paid. That's a roster that's making $20.5 million to go 3-8, 3-9 in college football. It's crazy. And you know who's subsidizing it? The kids that are already spending tons of money in tuition over at Colorado. It says that they're not going to use tuition money, but if they need the student fees of $2.2 million and additional money of 11 point whatever it is from the institution, this is not a sustainable thing in college football. Mm-mm. There's only about a handful of schools that could do this. And when everybody just assumes that all these schools are making tons of money. No. They're not. These schools are having financial issues with a lot of these things. This is why professionals that work in these entities are not making a lot of money. So there's no money to be made for average people in college athletics. I know people that worked in college athletics. It's not good pay and a lot of work because you're doing multiple people's jobs because you had to take the money to give to 18-year-olds to go play football. It's the reality of the situation. Football brings in the money, but the problem is they got to spend all this money to fund these programs that don't bring in any money at all. Like field hockey and volleyball and swimming and dive and track.
We like volleyball on the show here. Relax.
I like a lot of sports on the show here, but the problem is they don't bring in any money. They don't bring enough money to cost for the travel of flying all over the place to play college athletics. The football program was doing that. Cutting more jobs in college athletics for this stuff. Yeah, it costs money to run these programs. That's the entire point of my conversation. Colorado made $136 million in revenue. But the problem is they got expenses of $163 million because they're trying to pay to get a better team. They're trying to pay for coaching. They're trying to keep up. It costs money to run these programs. People just assume they're getting $61 million per year in TV revenue. It's all profit. It's not just going into they got to pay for a lot of stuff. It's not this formula of college athletics only there's only a handful of schools that can do it. And most of it is backed on people just writing checks for tax write-offs and hoping that the CEO of Crumble Cookies can come in and save the day. Because that's what it is. And that's what makes this so interesting. It's not like they're getting paid from the schools that are making the money like it is in like professional sports. They're asking the fans to write them blank checks to pay for the salaries of their players. Crazy. This is at Colorado. It's probably happening at like almost every school.
Probably worse at other schools, too.
Yeah. I mean, San Diego State's trying to compete. How are they supposed to compete if Colorado can't even compete and they get more money? Quinn and Chris coming up next. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.